Just let me know when we're live, and I'll put a shirt on.
Hey guys, how's it going? The very
just-
first thing that appears in this stream is Patrick being like, "Let me know if I can go put a shirt on."
Yeah, I'm wearing a shirt, obviously.
Obviously,
I do have to say, in 13 minutes, I gotta go get my son and put him to bed. He is currently playing what's it called? He's currently playing.
Banjo Kazooie,
Yes. Wait, how did you know?
because you text me and said I got him playing banjo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm on baby duty, well, kid duty tonight because he's not really a baby, but I'm on kid duty tonight, and I just put the daughter to bed, and then my son's up playing a little bit of Banjo Tooie.
Banjo
So
Tooie, okay.
Banjo Tooie, that's right.
It's just
So
Red. Hey, how's it going?
hey,
Always good to
how's it
see you
going?
hopping in first. Very impressive, actually.
Yes, sir.
Well, so what we're doing here tonight, this download ad is blocking. It's a Ruler of the Skies tier list. So I've already taken the liberty to put probably the best card on Patrick. I think this is for
I think
you. You
so.
would agree. Meta defining is going to be Galarian Zigzagoon, best card in the set, right, Patrick?
I think so. I think so. Zigzagoon's always the best. I don't care if it never ever sees the light of day. It's just the best card. I mean, what can I say?
And that
So anyway,
tracks. But in reality, we have our tiers. I will go ahead and run through them real quick. We have meta defining, which basically means that the card in and of itself or in combination with another card is going to warp the entire meta around it. Good cards are just that. They're good, they're playable, they're probably going to see a lot of play in the meta, but the meta doesn't revolve around them. Staples mean that they're going to be in the meta, but they are not kingmakers in and of themselves. They themselves do not make the deck. So think, I don't know, Wallace. I guess I'm just trying to pick. My mind went to Copycat, but Copycat is absolutely meta defining. So,
right.
yeah. Think Professor. Professors is always going to be a staple, so it's going to be that category. We've got niche and prog relevant, which means that it can build a deck around itself. It won't be very good, but it could be fun to play, or it'll be actually very relevant in our progression series, since that is a much lower power format. Bad cards are just that. They are bad or so bad in and of themselves compared to previous versions that they deserve to be in that category instead of the last category, which I've already taken the liberty of filling out, is the pack filler not fully evolved. And those are exactly that. They're just extra cards that get thrown in the pack to give you more cards to pull, even though no one is ever going to play Kilowattrel. So,
Hey man, I might. You never know.
Fair enough. So, with that, I am going to move our boy Zigzagoon down to the category where he technically belongs.
Where he actually should probably be, to be completely honest. Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, some of the cards I've thrown in bad already. Delmise I just threw in because Mythical Island Delmise is so much better. Tilmask Ogerpon, because why would you ever play a card with 90 HP that does damage based on its remaining HP? And then Heatmore and Eevee. Eevee I put in there because it's just continuous steps.
So we
Eevee,
have so
but
many
worse.
much better Eevees.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to play an Eevee that flips coins, play continuous steps. Otherwise, play Boosted Evolution, because that's the best Eevee. Period.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that.
So, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into this. We're going to do this in, I think, our entire first evolutionary line as one, because they really do feed into each other, and that is Wurmple into Silcoon and Beautifly, or Wurmple into Cascoon and Dustox. So, Cascoon and Silcoon both have the same ability, which is, for one, colorless energy, put 3 random cards among Silcoon and Cascoon from your deck onto your bench. Patrick, I think you can all guess, but tell us why this is nutty.
Well, okay, so one of the limiting factors, obviously, in Pocket and in the paper TCG is, you can only play a certain number of copies of cards. So when you have a card like Eevee is a fantastic example of this that we've seen in the past. When you can only play 2 copies of Eevee, 4 copies in the paper TCG, but 2 copies of Eevee in this game, well, that really limits your ability to kind of splash copies of Vaporeon, Espeon, or what have you, right? Which is then what something like EVEX will fix, because you can evolve from EVX into anything that would normally evolve from Eevee, right? So now you can run Eevee box decks, right? The Leafeon and Flareon Sylveon lines, right? So it gives you many more options, and it kind of uniquely can bypass the limit that you see on the structure of the decks, right? So this is a very
Mm-hmm.
creative rule making that's being done and performed here by DNA with this kind of design. So that said, we're seeing that again with the Silcoon Cascoon line to, I think, a clearer degree, arguably, and creating like probably what's going to be, a B or a high or low A tier archetype, similar to kind of like a Sweets Relay deck, right? You've
Mm-hmm.
got one thing you're trying to do. It's not going to be insane, relative to stuff like, I don't know, Dark Toolbox, for instance, but it'll be still pretty freaking good for what it's worth. And I think that this puts it. What's our like tiers? There's probably
I'd probably
there's probably
throw it in a niche, but that, I mean, it depends on
yeah.
what the payoff is, and we'll look at Beautifly and Dust Talks next. But one
Right.
thing I want to point out that's really interesting because,
Oh, I should talk
uh,
about why I'm talking about it in this way. Yeah,
yes,
go for it, James.
but so this Cocoon Collector. So with Eevee Box, with the introduction of EVEX, allows you to run 4 EVs. This you only have to run 1 Wurmple and then run 2 Silcoon and 2 Cascoon, because once you evolve the 1 Wurmple into Silcoon or Cascoon, you then use its Cocoon Collector attack, and then the other 3 are pulled out onto the bench. Think Tandem Mouse, how you would just be able to pull all of them out, including Mouse Hold. I might have those flipped. I think Mouse Hold's the evolution, right? Including Mouse Hold
Yeah.
with and it doesn't need it, like, it comes out by itself, not on top of a basic Pokemon. So instead of having to run 4 Wurmples and then run an additional 4, 2 Silcoon, two Cascoon, you run 1 Wurmple, 2 Silcoon, 2 Cascoon, which again saves tremendously on deck space, allows you to run 2 stage 2 lines. And the real question is, it's a cool gimmick, but what is the payoff? We have 2 cards here. First is Beautifly. This attack does 30 more damage for each evolution Pokemon on your bench, which means that it is typically doing upwards of 120 damage with the other 3 Cascoon, Silcoon, Dustox, whatever combination you
Right.
have on your bench. 120 damage for 1 energy on a bug Pokemon, which is going to be important. And then we have Dustox, which is attack, Cutting Wind, isn't really stand out, but its ability, once per turn, you may inflict 1 special condition on your opponent's Pokemon, chosen at random between burned, confused, poisoned, and it will not double up on that effect. So every single turn, you get to inflict a status condition, 1 of which stuns, 2 of which does damage, and then you do damage on top of that. So you have 1 utility kind of piece in Dustox and 1 damage piece in Beautifly, and all of this on a 1-point deck for 1 to 2
Yep.
energy. And all you need 1 basic Pokemon in this deck. You put Wurmple in this deck, you start with it, you boosted evolution directly into Silcoon or Cascoon, and you are off to the races. You have everything set up almost guaranteed in 2 turns.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I
Brandon
would.
Mark says, "Why are bugs so good lately? First Caterpie, now this." Patrick, I think, has a theory on that.
Well, I don't have a theory just yet. I need to do more look into this, but I have noticed that there just seems to be like a very clear push for bugs to be meta viable, and I think
Hmm.
that's super interesting.
Well,
So
and
I want to look more into that.
what I think they're doing with bugs is, so you know how fighting type is broken into like ground,
Yeah.
rock, and fighting, and each of them within the type itself does a different thing that mimics what the Pokemon in the games do. I think they're trying to do that, get that vibe now with bug
Yeah.
in a better way. So bugs, what do? They require less
Yeah.
experience to level up, and they evolve earlier than most other Pokemon types. And that's what we're seeing here is they tend to search out their evolutions, or they just straight up pull them out of the deck and evolve that turn. And their attacks don't require a lot of energy, so they're able to, their stage 2 lines are able to attack very quickly. And so while you may be capping out at a lower damage, you're getting there sooner, and that mimics what bug Pokemon do in the game exactly, which is they evolve sooner, they hit harder, faster, but they don't do as much overall damage as like a dragon type, for example.
Right. No, and I think that's pretty accurate actually, James. To probably the design philosophy, and just insofar as they're trying to follow what they do in the actual video games themselves. So, and, and I think that this is frankly a very interesting way of doing so, and kind of fits into. And we just had our type theming tier list right
Mm-hmm.
recently. This kind of fits into the grass kind of tankiness stuff, but like
Mm-hmm.
in a different way than just increasing the HP. It just gives you more accessibility to evolutions quicker. Like it turns what would be a stage 1 HP stat line into a basic Pokemon stat line, right? So like I think that that's very interesting.
Yeah. So that all, yeah. Honestly, when I opened up the list of cards, started reading through them, I immediately saw Silcoon, Cascan. I was like, oh my god,
Oh
this
yeah, I thought
is
this was super cool.
this is amazing. So huge props to the designers for that. And I think we're gonna. I think I would move the entire line here up into. There's so many Pokemon. I have to move them in chunks. Into this niche category, because I don't necessarily think that this is going to define the meta in any way. I don't think it's going to be
No.
the top of the meta, but it is an
This
interesting
is
tier 2
the
deck.
I think this is the, Puppy Pile, Sweets Relay,
The budget
you
deck, if
know,
you will.
yeah, the budget deck, right? I think that that's a good way of putting it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that that's generally a good sign for the game, though, that they print these probably more accessible, cheaper to access decks, and pretty easy to understand. I mean, it doesn't take a doctorate to really know. Oh, okay, so I'm going to start with a Wurmple, and I'm going to evolve into a Cascoon or something with quick growth extract, and then just immediately start using the cocoon thingy and just
hmm
bring out a bunch of dudes. And then I want two Dustox on the bench and a uh Beautifly, sorry, Beautifly on the in the active slot, right?
Right.
So I think that's generically a good sign for the game design, that they're not just trying to continuously print. Well, this will be the next meta card. This will be the next meta card, and then now we just have like crazy amounts of power scaling. But instead, they're kind of typically printing pretty good stuff, but then also some stuff that's just like it just looks like fun. It just looks like a fun, like if you want to relax a little bit and play a little bit of a lower powered deck, or probably would be a pretty good deck for like our format, for instance.
Oh, I mean,
Then this
if
is
if
it.
I pull this, I'm 100% running, because I also have quick grow extract. So
Oh yeah,
it's
that's
kind of
true.
and I've got leaf capes. Like this is a no brainer. If I pull this in Prague, if I pull, if yeah, 100%. But all right, so enough glazing the type Pokemon here. Moving on, Lileep is not fully evolved, so we have Credilli, which is a fossil Pokemon, stage 2. 2 energy, 70 damage. Heal 30 damage from this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. The defending Pokemon can't retreat. I don't know
I
if I
think
like this
I think
card.
this is pretty bad. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this is pretty bad. I've seen one deck using a fossil Pokemon from the set, and it was not this one.
Yeah, yeah, I would use the other
I,
one too. The,
I mean,
the corner, the only time you really want to be using something like that, like a corner, I'm gonna call this a corner attack, which prevents your opponent from retreating, is when you've already inflicted them with a status condition. This doesn't inflict them with a status condition; instead, it heals itself. And you're
right.
also, I mean, you have to go through the headache of getting the fossil, which is an item card, which can only be searched by. I think they only be searched this one by Arvin or other Pokemon, and add it to
No,
your.
there's an item that searches it in this game now, in this set.
Yeah, I know, but like,
I'm just
I
saying,
would
you
still
say it
rather
can
run
only be
Arvin. That,
searched.
that's
I'm just
fair. That's
saying.
fair. We'll get there. We'll get there. Um, yeah, I think the juice just isn't worth the squeeze in this case, and I would honestly put it in bad, because
Yeah,
I don't see a reason why you would ever play it.
I would agree. I mean, I'm not going to argue that at all. I think that it's interesting that, for 2 energy you can do 70 damage, with rare candy that's pretty quick, but at the end of the day it's like, given the choice, there's a lot of other things I'd rather do, and I don't think that it's threatening enough that locking one card in the active slot is going to be all that impactful. I mean, maybe if your opponent started with Absol and somehow hasn't brought it out when you're showing a Lilip, but
Right.
and also keep in mind, I mean, with the fossil stuff, you have to find some way to get whatever it is you did start with of the um out of the active slot and get this
Yep.
thing in there.
Well, we
And I think that
and there's a
that's
card in this set that counters corner strategies. So,
yeah.
I mean, even if at some point in the game this would have been viable, it is certainly not this set.
Right, exactly. And I think that's right. I think
So,
that's exactly right.
all right, moving on to our very first EX Pokemon, we have
Vespiquen.
Vespiquen.
Vespiquen. Vespiquen.
Vespiquen.
Ves All right, I actually got to go.
That's like I know what, I would rather put my son
I
to
can
bed.
I can
than-
I actually do kind of need to go. I can talk about this one and then I got to go put my son to bed real
Okay,
quickly.
then I will take the next however many cards. Then you can tell me
Yeah.
how wrong I am when you get back.
Yeah. What do we have lined up? I want to be here to talk about Typhlosion and
We have a Seg. This one,
Selgor.
a Selgor, Pheromosa,
Yeah, that'll be,
and
this will be good
Poltergeist.
because I'm not here to correct you on the spelling of any of this. So everybody gets to enjoy how James decides to pronounce various Pokemon. I want
Tyra,
to be here to
you.
talk about the next 3 EXs, and I think that's probably.
Yeah, I
The
will.
ponytail looks cool. The ponytail looks pretty cool, but outside of that, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so Vespiquen, take it away.
So the only deck I've ever seen Vespiquen in as of late has been a
As of late, its
deck.
card's been out for 24 hours.
Yeah, well, shut up. The only deck that I've seen it in has been one that runs a variety of different like little tiny supporter pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Like Teal Mask, Ogrepon, and Pulcha. Poltergeist specifically for discard fodder.
Yep.
Although I did see one that ran Shuckle as a combo piece, which I thought was interesting.
That is
Because Shuckle
interesting.
freaking terrible.
Well, you stall with it, right? I'm assuming that's the point. The point of it.
That's my understanding. Yes, is that you kind of have that out there as a stall piece, and then when Shuckle's low on HP, you retreat it, send in Vespiquen, discard the Shuckle, and
So
get
it can't be Cyrus.
140 attack. Yeah, then it can't be Cyrus, right? And we do see that as kind of an overarching approach for a couple of cards actually in this set that you actually go for the discard so then they can't Cyrus your opener, which I think is a very interesting way of playing the game right now just with that in mind. So but I genuinely don't feel like this card is you know all that insane, to be
No,
honest.
I think the so and tell me if this is what you're seeing, having looked at any of the decks. But so you obviously run it with like Poltergeist, so that you can
Yep.
and I'll pull Poltergeist up real quick. So it's Hospitality. Once in your turn, you put this Pokemon from your hand to your bench. You may heal 20 damage from your active Grass Pokemon. So
Yeah.
it's essentially
It's just a potion.
it's a potion. You immediately discard it to do 140 damage with Vespiquen. Vespiquen attacks on curve off Combi. You can Quick Growth Extract directly into it from your deck. So again, bug Pokemon, very fast. That does a good chunk
Yep.
of damage. What else was I going to say? Oh, Fragrant Forest is going to help keep your hand topped off so that you can keep getting more grass Pokemon. So you always have fodder. Only big issue with this is that it's 140 HP, but that can be mitigated with a Leaf Cape, bring it up to 170, so it don't have to worry about that 140 breakpoint. I think this card has a lot going for it. I agree that it's probably not, well, it's definitely not going to warp the meta around it. I think this card in this deck is probably generally good. I think it's better than Niche, but not the top of the meta.
Yeah, I think it's definitely got some playability. I mean, it hits the all important 140 HP breakpoint, although it has 140 HP itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it can threaten some things, and I just think that the issue that I have with Vespiquen is that it has a cap. And when you run out of resources, you're out of resources.
That's true.
Or if you don't have it, you're kind of SOL. Though it's just very clearly this thing is going to either win in the first couple of turns or lose in the first couple of turns.
Yep.
And that's about it. Whereas I think some of the other decks or cards that are on this that are from the set have a little bit more flexibility,
Mm-hmm.
than I think what Vespiquen has. So it's not a terrible thing. Like if I were to pull this in Prague, I'd probably play it. This is pretty good. But as far as the meta game is concerned, I'm not so sure. I am not so sure.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It does one thing, does it really well. It does it early, which is again very
Yeah.
important in this game, getting that damage out early. But if you just can't for whatever reason, you brick, you don't get the resources you need, or if you just run
Yeah.
out of resources, it runs out of gas fast, just like the Gyarados discard deck. Any cards that require you to discard Pokemon to attack, you run out of gas pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think I'm gonna go put my son to bed really quickly, but I'll
Okay.
leave you all with Reggie.
All right, Reggie, what are your thoughts on Vespiquen?
Yeah, Reggie can weigh in. There you go, big guy.
He's just like, I have no
He's a good
idea.
boy.
He has no thoughts.
No, he's like, I have no
I'll be right
idea
back.
why you have a mic in front of me. I meanwhile have my cat Milo sitting right here, who's wondering why I just spun him around. My wife has a little cushion thing on her gaming chair, and he just loves sleeping on that. So okay, so Vespiquen, we're gonna throw that up into just generally good. And since we talked about it a little bit, we're gonna take Poltergeist. Normally, when cards benefit from one another, we put them with one another. However, Poltergeist outside of outside of the interaction with Vespiquen and discarding really doesn't see much play. So that I think also fits into that niche category. Goes in one specific deck, does one specific thing, and outside of that, you're not really going to see it played. Notice that we have its evolution in pack filler, so shouldn't be too surprising. Moving on, we have the card that I couldn't read earlier because I'm getting old and my eyes don't work. Accelgor. I thought that was an I when I was on the screen. I thought that was an I. So for 2 colorless energy, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned and paralyzed. Shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your deck. So the poison and paralyzed is a good combination because it's going to prevent your opponent from retreating or attacking as a result of the paralysis. So you're guaranteed to get an additional minimum 3 ticks off. So 1 at the end of the turn on your checkup, 1 at the end of their turn on checkup, and then again back on your turn. So effectively, this does 80 damage and blanks your opponent's next attack, which is really good. The downside is, and so this is a good, an upside and a downside. Upside, you shuffle your Accelgor and all cards attached to it, including basic, back into the deck. That means that for an 80 HP Pokemon, which is low, you're getting it out of there before it gets KO'd, because in most of the time in the modern meta, it's going to get KO'd immediately on the crackback. However, you're sacrificing 2 turns of energy in order to do this. And you're presumably playing this with a grass deck where there is some ramp in Leafeon and whatnot, but not a whole lot. So you almost have to build the deck around Accelgor. Accelgor is itself not it's not splashed into decks unless you just have, all your other Pokemon require 1 or 2 energy, like if you're running it with bugs, for example, like some of the examples we were looking at earlier. So for that reason, for that downside, I don't expect this to be ran a lot, but I do see the value in running it in, again, more of a niche deck. So that is exactly the category that we're going to put it in. We're going to throw him up here in niche. Then our last grass type Pokemon is Pheromosa, another Rotom S tier Twinkle Muncher. Yes, we will get there. I don't know if I agree, but Patrick might agree. I don't know. I just don't like. Discarding is right. It's better than Dedenne, where you have to attach them, so there's an inherent limit. Plus, yeah. Anyway, we can get there. Was it Traveling Merchant? Pulls 4? Yeah. Anyway, Pheromosa If you haven't gotten any points, this attack does 60 more damage for 2 energy. Unfortunate that it's 2 energy on a basic, so you don't get to attack your first turn. However, second turn, assuming this doesn't get one hit KO'd, because hard, because it's 70 HP, but not impossible these days. Prelude will be doing 90 damage off rip, which is a lot on a basic Pokemon for 2 energy. The downside is that you're going to be pulling this, if you don't open with this, it really isn't going to do you much good. So again, very niche use case. And realistically, I think a lot of other people would much rather prefer to play, it was like Kartana. It does 40 for 1, so you get to attack on the first turn. So you hopefully get more turns attacking, and you also get to use, you don't suffer for pulling that card later. You get to benefit, you pull it early, pull it later. So I'm going to throw this one. And this one is hard because I don't think that it deserves to go into niche, because I don't expect it to really see much play. I don't think it deserves to go into bad because it isn't inherently bad. There is a use case for it. So I'm actually going to add a row below and call it, there we go, meh. And we'll make this, what color should we make this? Blue. We'll make it blue. I lost the card. There it is. Okay. Twinkle Muncher, where did Juicy Steak go? Juicy Steak is right there. He's cleaning himself. Do you not see that? No, seriously. He's putting his kid to bed. So he'll be back here in a few minutes. Moving on to the fire types, we have Ponyta. So this Ponyta is interesting mostly because take a fire energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon, which means that the Rapidash from this set attacks on curve. Not why I want to talk about it. The reason I want to talk about it is because looking back at the Rapidash, the first Rapidash only requires 1 fire. Don't need the extra energy. The second Rapidash requires 2. Don't need the extra energy. This one requires 3. We don't need, but it's really, why would you run it? The third one requires 1 energy. Don't need it. Then we have Rapidash EX. Rapidash EX, 3 energy, and then its attack also does 20 damage on your opponent's bench Pokemon. We saw earlier on in Prague what happens when you don't have the ability to attack on curve with the stage 2 Pokemon. Rapidash just doesn't have the staying power, doesn't have the HP, and even its damage 130 split between the active and the bench really isn't enough to make it stand out. But in Prague, I do have a copy of Rapidash EX, and so if I pull this Ponyta, I have no problem bringing that back, because now suddenly, not only can the Ponyta attack on turn 1, whereas the Ponyta that I have is 2 energy, so it can't, but Rapidash EX itself also attacks on curve, which is going to earn Ponyta here a spot in niche Prog Relevant for that Prog Relevant slot. Moving on, we have Flareon. So, for 2 energy, deal 70 damage, discard a fire energy from this Pokemon, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. So effectively, this does 90 damage, and this goes back to what Fire wants to do, which is attack hard, attack fast, at the cost of discarding energy. I lost my train of thought. So with Flame Patch, this allows you to stay up and attack every single turn while also ramping something on the bench. This Flareon is very much an opener, not a closer. You get it out there, preferably with Boosted Evolution Eevee. You're attacking on turn 2. You're dealing a significant amount of damage. 90 is enough to take out all basics in the, well, not all basics, but most basics in the game, and a lot of stage 1s as well in stage 2 evolutionary lines. So this allows a fire deck to put on put some threat down early. The question becomes, of course, where we can see where it's supposed to be slotted into a deck, but what deck is actually going to run it? And off the top of my head, I don't have an answer for that. a lot of the fire decks, again, at 20 cards, they just don't have room for this. So I'm going to throw Flareon into that meh category, right alongside Pheromosa. It has its use cases, but what deck is actually going to be able to run it?
All right, I am back. So what are your terrible takes?
All right, so I have a Selgor up in Niche and Prog Relevant.
We added a new tier.
We did. We have Ponyta in Niche Prog Relevant, specifically because Rapdash EX, because I have a copy of Rapdash EX.
Okay.
And that allows it to attack on curve.
I think anything that just generates more energies always has some possibility.
Agreed. And then Pheromosa and Flareon in meh, because we can see they're fine cards, they have use cases, but what decks do you run them in, and what are the trade-offs? And the answer is, I can't think of any decks that you would want to run those in over something like Cortana or like an Entei, for example, in Flareon's case. So I could see people running it, but it is not the optimal choice in any decks that I can think of. So
okay, yeah, I would probably agree with that.
Cool. Turkey Pear, you're late. Well, fortunately for you, Patrick just got back.
I did just get back, and I see my number one fan, Twinkle Muncher 2, because Twinkle Muncher 1 was clearly in use. Was asking where I was. My friend, I was taking care of my son. I had to put him to bed. I'm on kid duty tonight.
It was great when he asked that, because Reggie was cleaning himself. I'm like, what do you mean? He's right there cleaning his butt.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's Just Red says probably run it with Entei EX for Flareon. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so we are moving on now to Typhlosion. You made it just in time for Typhlosion.
Good. So yeah, this card, obviously, I think there's some very clear intended synergies here, James.
Yeah.
Working with Victini. I think Will also is just generically good in this deck.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that it benefits from having the guaranteed coin flip at least once.
Oh yeah, I mean, removing energy is crazy. And this isn't something that Fire does anywhere else. And if you pair this, if you can find space in the deck, is the caveat. If you can pair this with Skeledirge, that means that Typhlosion is also not only removing energy, but you are hitting more than that 140 breakpoint. That brings the attack up to 160.
Right. Exactly. But I would probably keep it just Typhlosion and maybe Mega Houndoom, which we know is coming here soon.
Yeah.
Just to keep the uptime going, basically.
Yeah. So
because I think that yeah, obviously that's fine, but I think it's a little bit too gimmicky for my taste.
Yeah, the question is, do you want to do more damage? Well, here's the thing: if you do enough damage, the energy removal really doesn't matter. Although this pairs interestingly with a couple other cards with another card that we'll see later in the set. So what would you rate our friend Typhlosion?
I think that this is pretty high up there. I think that we're going to see quite a few Typhlosion decks.
You think good?
Start popping around. I think so.
That's where I would put it.
I don't think that this is meta, but I would probably say it's pretty good. I mean, it's going to be up there where Vespiquen is, like in playability, in terms of playability. It's got a lot going for it. I mean, it benefits from Will. It benefits from pretty much all of the, stage 2 support that we get. So overall, I just generically think that this card has a lot of potential. I'm very excited to start playing with it. I think it has a lot of good stuff in this set alone too.
As excited as I have been for all these Fire decks pairing up with Victini recently, I actually haven't played any of them. Which is surprising. Turkey Pear says Sharpedo kind of stomps him. Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah. I mean, Sharpedo does kind of demolish him, which is why I don't think that this is top tier by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, Sharpedo's just ridiculous. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Sharpedo is, what the heck are you doing? All right, moving on to Houndoom. Not the most flattering Houndoom art. I love the art from, I don't even know what set that was. It's the corner Houndoom, But for 2, crunch, 60 damage, flip a coin. If heads, discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. The guaranteed removal is nice. The damage isn't bad. I think that this is another one of those cards that, yeah, you could run it. I just don't know, what do you take out of a fire deck to slot in at least 2 cards, a Houndour and a Houndoom. Dedicate 2 energy to it. You're not doing a significant amount of damage, and you're at best slowing the enemy down by removing 1 energy by the time you get Houndoom out there. Typhlosion is neat because with Will, you're guaranteeing at least 1 removal, and with Victini, you always have a chance to get more. Victini gives you another chance to get more, whereas Houndoom is a guaranteed 1 without any of that support, but it doesn't go plus ultra. So I think this is a good candidate for that meh category.
My cat is biting. It's a cord up here. He's this one.
Jax is gonna get electrocuted.
Yeah, he's about to and fall on my computer screen. I swear to God, sometimes these cats, man, they're interesting people.
They're interesting people. So meh for Houndoom.
Yeah, I would probably. I don't think that this is going to see play. I think Mega Houndoom is definitely quite a bit of possibility to see play, but I don't. For that reason, I really just don't think that this one's going to, because that one's like way better. And if you're playing Houndoom, I'm just going to play the Mega version because it's just better. Like, I mean,
it's got like a week. It's got like a week until that Mega Houndoom comes out. So
yeah, but still nobody's going to play it.
I know. I was just saying it's got a week to play. All right, so that wraps up our fire types. Moving on to water types. First one we have Starmie for water and a colorless.
I think this is just terrible.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think it's necessarily terrible. This goes back to our conversation that we were having Tuesday night, specifically about steel. This is not affected by weakness, unfortunately, or by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, which mitigates steel's entire gimmick. So if ever, and this is where I wanted to talk about the one line about Starmie, if ever steel starts to dominate the meta, or steel becomes prominent like it was when, for a little while when Metal Core Barrier first came out, Starmie just hoses that. Like, it reads Metal Core Barrier, doesn't discard Metal Core Barrier, basically. Turn off the damage reduction from Skarmory EX or from Steelix EX. So I think that in a very specific meta scenario, maybe this sees play. The question, of course, becomes, is the 60 damage and the two card slots really worth what you're giving up? And that it becomes a much harder conversation to have. I don't think this is bad. Yeah. I see the point. It has its use.
I see what it's trying to do, James, but I think that if it did more damage and there were actual resistances in the game, then I would take this as a contender. But because there's no resistances, I generically think that this is just a useless secondary effect on everything that isn't like exactly an EX.
That isn't exactly Steelix EX with Metal Core Barrier attached.
Well, I would know like the effect to be on specifically an EX Pokemon, just because of Oricorio
or Jasmine.
James,
oh, you mean because of Oricorio?
Yes. I do not see this as valuable as an effect unless this effect of ignoring anything on your opponent's Pokemon is on an EX, because then it doesn't have to work. No, that's Oricorio. Fair. But even then, Oricorio is not that impactful nowadays.
Yeah,
that's what I've been trying to say. I don't really care about the steel interaction.
No, fair enough. I don't think anyway. I think Matt is fine.
Yeah. So anyway, we can continue.
Okay. And now we are finally on to Sharpedo, Turkey Pear.
Yes.
Yeah. For 1 energy, 70 damage. Take a water energy from Energy Zone and attach it to one of your benched water Pokemon. We have, speaking of water as the ramping type, we have a very fast attacking water type ramping Mega EX Pokemon that does a decent chunk of damage. Is very beefy at 190 for a stage 1. And as Patrick pointed out in a group chat earlier, Carvanha is 50 HP, which means
Yep.
that Wallace evolves it from the deck directly into Mega Sharpedo.
Turn 1.
Turn 1.
Yep.
So, I mean, I honestly, there isn't a whole lot more that you can ask from a Stage 1
Oh.
Water Mega.
Oh, no. Did you talk about the fact that it has no retreat cost?
I hadn't gotten there yet, but you are correct that it also has no
You
retreat
said there's
cost.
nothing more you could ask. I mean, hey, I have no retreat cost, so then basically what I just do because I'm a scumbag playing the game, I Wallace into Mega Sharpedo, retreat into like, I don't know, Chingling, I don't know, Mime Jr. to refresh my hand. I don't
Oh, we'll
know.
get to Mime
It's
Jr.
like what was the other one? Why not to just
Yep.
stun lock your opponent? Like, wow, there's just like a bunch of stuff I can do for free immediately turn 1, and then I've got the 70 damage guy that just hoses every single basic in the game pretty much. So like this thing is just insanely quick, and I really don't think that I think a lot of people are focusing on the energy ramp, which is ridiculous as part of this effect, but really that 70 damage for 1 with no retreat cost is an insane piece of this card.
It is. I mean,
Actually
everything. My point about the card is, what more could you ask from a Stage 1 Water type, or any
Yeah.
Stage 1? Honestly, like, if you put this card in any type, I think that it immediately sees play.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that it it's not even like as Turkey Bear said, it's not even the best water type buff in this set for no reason.
Hey,
So
what they were not. Look, DNA watched our list the other night, and they were not content with water being number 2. Water
Clearly,
must
yeah.
be number 1, and
Clearly.
they're moving in that direction. So I think it's fair to throw this guy all the way up as our first meta-defining card.
Yeah.
This Sharpedo is going to be. I think this is going to be the Sharpedo meta, if you will. But moving on, Whalmer should be up there. We went from the good. Now let's look at the ugly. Wailord EX.
Yeah. Well, okay, Wailord EX is actually good. But just not like it's not the best thing you could be doing. Right? So the intended function is to run Mega Sharpedo and Wailord together, right? Because then you're ramping this thing. And you have access to the super duper OP Skyla. If this thing is what you start with, you do not care about the retreat cost. You can just Skyla it out, no problem.
That's true.
Or if you start with Wailmer, you can always play Parasol Lady to do functionally the same thing, right? So there's a million different ways to get this thing out of the active slot. It does not matter. So you'll pull this out, send in Mega Sharpedo, and then this guy is basically ready to go. I think like turn 2 or turn 3, basically, based on that additional ramp. Yeah. And then you're having no special conditions really impacting this outside of like specifically paralysis and sleep. And that, which I mean is something, but at the same time you could always throw,
and that's,
I don't know, Clear Veil on it.
Well, and you would have to, which then, and that's my problem with this. So it's 4 energy for only 100. Now, don't be wrong, Wailord is a big boy, 250 HP.
Yep,
This leans towards that Ryunculus strategy that I love so much, which is, yeah, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but man, is it gonna tank a lot of damage and kill you eventually before you can KO it. Especially once you include some additional healing. Like there's plenty of healing in the water type on Pokemon, but then also you have Irida, for example, that you can heal it as well. But my problem is only 100 damage for 4 energy. Water's a ramping type, so not that big of a deal. But then recovers from all special conditions. Well, most of the special conditions that you really care about are going to be the ones that prevent you from attacking, and so confusion, paralysis, sleep, which this doesn't. If you can't attack, the effect can't go off. If this were an ability, different story, but it's not. So then you talk, we can put Clear Veil on it.
Clear Veil on it. And then we also have Soothing Shore to restore HP.
But cool. That's awesome. The attack now just says do 100 damage for 4 energy. Now we're just looking at rock type Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not the ideal of what you would probably want to do.
Mhm.
with the card.
Honestly, I would
But
rather run Blastoise, Mega Blastoise, because then for one more energy, you're doing tons of damage to the active spot and spread damage onto the bench for eventual Cyrus plays, or even just KOing like babies and basics.
I mean, sure. Like I said, it's clearly intended to work with Mega Sharpedo, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
think we can both agree that that is what this is supposed to do. I think the problem is that there are a million things that you would just rather run than specifically this with
Yep.
Mega Sharpedo. That's the
Yep.
problem. But in a vacuum, I don't think that this is terrible. Understanding what the pieces we have available to us. I
No,
mean,
I don't think this
this
is a
now is
bad card. I just think
it's the highest HP Pokemon in the game, and it is the only Pokemon in the game at this point, as far as I know, that can withstand the attack from Megachar Y. So
without attacking first, because Steelix can do it if it attacks first.
no, Steel does Steelix
It's
do
yeah,
how much damage does Steelix reduce?
it reduces by 20 and turns off its weakness to fire, so it's an
Yeah, but
effective
Megachar
minus
Y
40.
does 250.
Mhm.
Doesn't does so then it's got an effective HP of 240. Right?
Mega Steelix. So yeah, so it
But
has 220, and
so
then
it still gets one hit KO'd by
oh,
Megachar Y.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
The
Yeah,
Megachar
yeah,
Y does 250.
yeah. You're right. You're right.
So I mean, I'm also assuming. I mean, you could say, oh, but I have a
Well, we're
I have an elegant cape on it too. Okay, sure, but like now it is one less step than Steelix to survive. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
it's that's what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, either way, I don't think this is terrible.
No, I
I've
think this
seen-
is. I think it goes in meh personally. Like I see again, it's not bad, but when are you going to run this over other options?
I mean, fair.
I don't think that running Wailord EX brings you any closer to winning the game as opposed to running a million other things. You could run Chen Pao and then you could cycle that in and out. You could run Mega Blastoise like I mentioned earlier. Tons of options.
I mean, sure. I mean, like, I don't think it's. I think it's fine. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that this is goated either. Like I recognize that. So Metagross with core barrier survives, says Turkey Berry. That yeah, true. I mean, there's a couple of educations because I think Mega Gyarados is 230 now, right? So it's even higher than Mega Metagross. What did I say? Mega Gyarados?
You said Mega Gyarados. I was really confused. I was like, what?
Mega Metagross. Oh my! It's been a long day, my guy. Thursdays are my days full of meetings. So
Oh, I get it.
but anyway, so yeah, I don't want to put this in bad. That's all I don't want to do.
No,
I don't think it's bad.
agree. I agree. All right, moving on. Next we have Walrein. So and Celio, real quick, shout out to Celio. Interesting, does 120 damage against a fighting type Pokemon. Unfortunately, it is 3 energy, and it's a stage 1. I mean, very specific use case, but it's not your end goal. Your end goal is going to be Walrein. For 4 energy, your opponent can't use any supporter cards.
I gotta get I hear yelling upstairs. This thing's interesting. I think it's a better version of Mega Gengar. It's water type, so
Yep.
a better ramp.
Yep.
So I think it's interesting. I'm not gonna say that it's particularly good, but I think it's like it would maybe be a better payoff than like effect wise than Wailord there, but just significantly less HP and harder to reach.
Yep, and not Mega Gengar. I think the GA Gengar, because I think Mega Gengar turns off all of. Make sure that I actually. Yeah, Mega Gengar turns off all trainer cards. The GA Gengar turns off supporters only. So, there's a niche case for this. I mean, you're going to be running it with ramp in water type, so it's a little bit better than just meh. But again, And it also, unlike GA Gengar or Mega Gengar, again, it's a 1 point, so the cost of running it isn't really as high. Moving on, we have, oh boy, I want to come back to Kyogre with with Patrick. All right, Kyogre. Tidal Blast, discard 3 energy from this Pokemon, does 50 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Damage spread is interesting. So you're doing upwards of 200 damage. This goes back to, for example, why I really like Wugtrio EX. You're doing spread damage. You could be potentially one-hit KOing Pokemon, basic Pokemon, especially baby Pokemon that are now sitting on the bench. Big problem is that you are discarding 3 energy off of it, and then it has 2 energy retreat cost, and it only has a 120 HP. So realistically, what you're probably going to do the following turn is Parasol Lady this card back into the hand. So you're effectively paying 4 water energy that you're never going to recover to do upwards of 200 damage. And that, to me, even in a typing that ramps as heavily as water, is just never worth it. Patrick, I was saying, concluding,
I
think
agree with
Kyogre's
that entire
bad.
analysis from what I heard. Yeah.
Cool. We're on the same page. Love it. I
Yeah.
saw Kyogre come in, I'm like, oh, Patrick's gonna want to hear this one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that one's pretty booty. What did you say about Walrein?
Oh, I threw it up in niche because being in the water type means that the expensive attack is much easier to achieve, and it does have the GA Gengar effect, but on a 1 point Pokemon instead of a 2 point Pokemon. Again, if you really desperately want to run a water stun deck, this is how you're going to do it. But outside of that
Yeah.
specific use case, I don't think. But unlike the other cards in the meh category, if you want to run that type of deck, there's not really better options. So you would
Right.
in fact run Walrein.
Right.
So next on our list is Samurott. Fun fact: this is my ex-girlfriend's favorite Pokemon.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, she's a Samurott plush. For 2 energy, Pike 60 damage. This does 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for a total of 80. And it has the ability Stance. Once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you will prevent all damage from and effects of attacks from your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon until the end of your opponent's next turn. I normally hate these effects that you get once per battle because you evolve it, so it's a hard once per card. But typically it's like, oh, you do 20 extra damage, which is really stupid. But this one, at the very least, is a better version of that effect because it blanks your opponent's next attack. Period. End of story. So you're going to evolve and you're going to be doing 160 damage for 2 energy between those 2 turns minimum before you get KO'd. Probably 3 because it's 150 HP.
Mhm.
So it's a neat effect, but I just don't know. Again, is the payoff worth it? What do you not play
Right.
in order to put Samurott in, which is a 3 Pokemon line? So now you're giving up 3 slots in a 20 card, 15% of your deck to this card. What do you get there that you don't get from playing something else? And I think the answer is not a lot. One extra, you get 80 more damage is the answer. You get 80 damage.
Yeah. And I would probably agree with that assessment. I mean, just generically, this is like, hey, you get to survive 1 extra turn, but you're basically oh, what's the thing's called? I can't even name it right now off the top of my head. The help me out here, James. The guy with the spear.
The guy with the spear, legendary fisherman.
No. It's the steel
It's a
hold on,
Yu-Gi-Oh
let me look.
card, by the way.
I know what it is.
I was
I
showing
know
the
what it
chat.
is. Hold on. It evolves. It's not a Selgor. It's the other one.
I have no idea.
Escavalier. It's
Oh,
Escavalier.
okay.
Yeah, it's just Escavalier from
Legendary fisherman number 2.
no, from Celestial Guardians. That's what it is. And it's like that was fine as like a combo piece
Yeah.
because it was cheap and easy to use with gosh, why am I blanking all these Pokemon? It's the Solgaleo. And I just think we're so far beyond that right now.
We
Like
are.
yeah, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, so I think this is another category for meh. I'm actually really happy that we added that category because, again, in a vacuum, these cards aren't bad. They're just, what do you play them
If it was
with in the
released,
modern meta?
if it was released like a few years, like a year ago,
Oh yeah.
then this would be crazy. But yeah, it's just not.
Mm-hmm. And if I had Samurott playing against your Gyarados EX, I think I win 9 times out of 10 just because blanking that one extra turn of 140 damage.
Yeah, but then now you're only doing 60, and then I kill you next turn. So, but I respect the hustle.
I respect the hustle. He's like, ah, season 1 doesn't count.
Season 1 does count. I still would probably end up winning.
Alomomola. I can read. English is hard. 2 water energy, mineral pump, 40 damage, heal 10 damage from each of your bench Pokemon, so you're healing upwards of 30. I think we're beyond this. I do. I just think we're way beyond spending 2 energy to heal 30 damage on a basic Pokemon.
Yeah.
It is tanky, and you can always pick it up with Parasol Lady. The problem is you've already sacked. You're then sacking two turns of energy, and is it really worth it? What are you doing healing 10 damage from each of your Pokemon? Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
So for the modern game state, I think this slots into bad pretty well.
I think that this does, like, in order to be really functional now, you have to have like something very specific that you do, and I just don't see that.
No, that's just
So,
generic. Play this card. All right, moving on.
I needed to put one card in from this set in my proc deck.
Unironically, if you see that card come down, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah. Yep.
So moving on to electric, we have Raichu as our first Pokemon. Electro Ball only does 50 damage, but Evo Shock. Once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand, back to that effect. To evolve one Pokemon, you may flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. I hate this. I hate everything about this because you have a hard once per card effect that has a 50% chance of dealing a status condition that blanks your opponent for 1 turn.
Yep.
That is a whole lot of hoops to jump through. And we have so many better Raichus. I mean, even if you're just looking for a 1-point Raichu, there are so many better options. I would never play this Raichu. I think this card is just bad no matter how good the artwork is.
Yeah. I hard agree with everything you just said there. I think that this is not good. I see what it's trying to do. I don't like it.
Points docked for trying. Moving on to Luxray. 3 energy, Revenge Blast. This attack does 50 more damage for each point your opponent has gotten. Now, I would have normally thrown this in Pack Filler if it was just another Revenge card, but this is slightly different. This is a true comeback card.
Oh, this can't be in Pack Filler. This is good. I'm not joking.
Well, okay, fine. You talk about this card.
Okay, so this card is actually pretty good. Because
I agree.
You talk about this card. So
I was about to get there.
Okay, no, fine. You do it.
No. I already handed it off. I'm drinking Mango Tropical Pure Aqua.
What'd you call me? Okay. So this card is generically really good, because obviously, if you're behind, then it's doing 180 damage. You can KO pretty much like half of the megas in the game, if you will, from that. So I think that generically is good for the card. Outside of that, though, you may be thinking, well, but you need 3 energy to get online, obviously. Well, if your opponent has points, you have more than likely energy in the discard pile. So you will just be able to use Volkner to put all the energy you want onto this guy and just immediately start cracking for 180 or 130 or whatever it is at that point in the game.
Yep, this has very much the same shock effect that something like Miraidon and Koraidon have. Miraidon especially, where you just play it from your hand and your opponent's like, they're like, what do you do at that point? So it's a little bit different because they can see it coming because you'll have Luxio on your bench or
Yeah.
whatever the basic Pokemon is called. I can't.
I was gonna say that the limiting factor of this, realistically speaking, is the fact that
Mm-hmm.
it has to be kind of played out a little bit.
Yeah.
So like that's a problem in and of itself, but outside of that, I think that this is actually pretty good.
Yeah. So where would you slot this?
I I really, all of that glazing aside.
It's just red, by the way. Says they're gonna say Volkner as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
All of that glazing aside, I think this one is a struggle for me because what am I playing it in?
Mm-hmm. Well, and
You
you
know
have
what I
to be
mean?
planning. Here's the thing: if in order for that card to work, you have to come in planning to lose. And unlike a 60 card deck, right, where you're like, oh, this is my win con, but I have a little bit of extra space, so I'm gonna splash a couple cards in that can help me recover. In a 20 card deck, it really is all or nothing, and so you're
Well,
taking
okay.
out.
This works decently well in a Magneton Magnezone deck with like a
Mm-hmm.
one Oricorio, because then you're just you want to be working your way through 1 point Pokemon. Because if you're trying to work your way through like an EX or something like that, you're just gonna run out of points and run out of material before you can actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
So
So that was kind of my point, though. Like you're
yeah,
building your deck around the idea of potential of probably being in a losing state. So it's just a different deck building theory if you want
I
to
don't
play
think
this
that you're
card.
I don't think that you're building it around you being in a losing state.
Well, it only does the extra
Like,
damage if you're losing,
no,
or
it
not
only does the
necessarily
extra
if you're.
damage if your opponent has points. So if you're actually even 2-2, this is now doing 180.
Yeah, but if you're it, come on.
I'm not gonna come on with that. I mean, if
I'm
you
not
put it in
saying
the,
that
if
you
you
have
put,
to have you have to have 0 points for this to work, but if your opponent has 2 points for you to be doing 180 damage, you are close to losing.
you're closer to losing, but so is your opponent once you donk them for 180. Like that's my point that I'm trying to
After
make.
the
Is that
attack. After the attack. That's the difference.
okay? Sure. If you the 180 isn't enough to finish the game, then yes, you are
Well, no,
SOL.
no. My,
But
my,
what?
my, my point is that ideally, when you're building a deck, you're operating not necessarily under the assumption that you're never going to give the opponent points, but that's kind of the idea, is that you're going to give them as few points as possible. Whereas the idea of any deck this is building around is that you are in some way giving your opponent points, be that through the idea of just sacking cards or stalling over time. And like, let's say you're throwing out Oricorio and you're going to stall them out of EXs, but eventually Oricorio 70 HP, it's going to go down. You throw out another one. Either way, in order for this card to come online, your opponent has to have points. So you are going to be in a what I consider it is a losing or to your point, an even state. But it is not
So
the ideal state that you go into the game wanting
okay, so
90%
let
of the
me ask
time.
you a question then. So let me ask you a question. So would you then say that the card known as Lusamine is a bad card?
I don't know. Let me look up the card. Oh, is
Go
that the
go look
is that the
go look no, go look up Lusamine and read the card. Read the card and tell me
yeah,
tell me that
that's
under
the
under the same assumption,
no, I don't think that Lusamine is a bad card,
right?
but
So, but it requires your opponent to have
it
taken
it
points,
it
which puts you
does.
in a losing state.
it it doesn't put you in a losing state if your opponent has 1 point. There's a difference, and to be fair, Luxray, if your opponent has 1 point, is doing 130, which is still a healthy chunk of damage.
Sure.
But if we're talking about the ability for it to one-hit KO at 180 damage, you are in much more in a losing state. Turkey Bear says Pichu with Lucky Egg is a worthy sacrifice. 100% agree. And I mean, you've seen me run mostly exactly that in Prague, and there's nothing wrong with intentionally setting up your deck to where you go down points, where you're sacking cards so that you can
Yeah.
draw more cards,
So
power
let me walk you
up
through,
something
let me walk you
else.
through how this deck works. Let me walk you through how this deck would theoretically work that I'm thinking of in my mind now. You have two Magnezones that self ramp. So you never really behind on energy economy, +1 Oricorio.
Mm-hmm.
You lose an Oricorio and a Magnezone, that's down 2 points, or you lose one because at one this is doing 130, which is
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've had to work their way through all of that, which is 50 damage from the Oricorio, yes, but that's usually more of a wall than really a damage dealer. They have to work their way through 90 damage a turn for Magnezone, plus the chance that you actually can't hit it. With the modern Magnezone that everyone uses, which in and of itself is pretty solid. Then now having to work your way through that, your opponent's probably pretty weakened. You've gotten at least 1 point. Well, what is KOing Magnezone? Probably an EX.
Yeah.
Then you just kick it out with 180 damage, like, and you're good. Like you won the game, or at least you're competitive. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm.
Yeah. No, and that makes perfect sense. The point that I was trying to get across is it's a different mindset than going in with like say like a Manectric Belly Bolt deck, just because the electric type is on my mind.
Yeah.
Where the idea is never to lose a point in the first place. It is to cycle things out, get damage, secure points, and win the game through the traditional means. This is a much more, if you will, call it a defense in depth strategy. The idea is to absorb pressure and then counterattack, as opposed to what you usually see from an electric type specifically, which is more of a blitzkrieg strategy, which is hit them hard, hit them fast, and never give up points, never let them relax.
What you see from electric is usually swarm, and this is kind of swarm but a different flavor, if you will. Like this is like, I'm going to sack a bunch of dudes and then hit you really hard later.
Patrick be like, let me rephrase the exact thing you just said.
Well, I'm just trying to be consistent with our swarm classification. So in our type theming series.
Okay. All right. So anyway, I would probably put this somewhere around niche.
I think it's I would say it's probably niche, but I could see quite a few electric decks running this instead of running whatever the flavor of the night is for them.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right. Now that we spent 30 minutes arguing over a card that we agreed on the entire time, moving on to Pachirisu, really only talking about this because of the next card that we're going to get into, and we'll talk about them together. So, basic Pokemon, Crackling Snap, 30 plus. For 1 energy, discard the top card of your deck, and if that card is an item, this attack does 20 more damage. 50 damage is cool, but it's not guaranteed, and you could be discarding combo pieces that you need, including the card that you actually want to be running, which is Rotom EX, where it does 10 more damage for each item card in your discard pile, starting at only 30. Twinkle Muncher believes that Rotom is S tier. I don't necessarily agree, but why don't you start talking about this while I let my cat out of the room real quick?
Yeah, sure. So I think that this card has some potential. I saw here, hold on 1 second. I did see a deck list that runs it. I want to pull that up really quickly and take a look at that, because I do not think that you want to run this, like, in theory, because I think you really kind of hit this on the head. I do not think that you want to run this with Pachirisu, I think is what it is. Just simply because it has that chance of discarding what you need it to discard.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best way of playing this is a million freaking fossils that you throw on your bench, plus like a couple of supporting items, if you will, that maybe can give you a couple more items in the discard pile, but you just run like a crap load of fossils plus like Copycat and Hiking Trail, and all you're doing is just dumping. You're just constantly discarding them, and you're copycatting to draw more to discard, and you just spam those out. I think that's the way you play this. For that reason, it's incredibly flail and not very good. So I think it's like, meh.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's not even getting into the fact that it has 120 HP and it starts at 30 damage, which means let's just say somehow you were playing Rotom with 19 items and you magically dumped every single item. you're still only doing you're doing 220 damage with your and that is maximum best case scenario. Yeah, it's a lot for 200, but in a normal battle, realistically, you're gonna be topping out at what 60 or 70 damage before Rotom goes down. And like, just play freaking Pikachu EX, like GA Pikachu EX. You're doing 90 damage on turn 1, whereas this. Brian Bridge, I'm here late, but real quick, what's your best pull so far from the set? I had to trade for Rainbow Sharpedo because it's so beautiful. I agree.
My best pull is actually a Rainbow Sharpedo, in my opinion. I also did get a shiny Mega Metagross, but I like the Rainbow Sharpedo more.
My best pull so far, I got the 1-star Ralts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
there you go. That's pretty good pull.
I think we'll get there in a bit. I think that Ralts is it's probably the best Ralts, definitely the best Ralts we have. And I mean, it's a full art, so we both know that I play a deck that runs Ralts. So anyway, Rotom,
I'm very interested to hear how this is the best Ralts that we have.
I might be overlooking your Ralts. Hang on. Before I insert foot into mouth. Oh yeah, it's 100% the best Ralts we have. It's not even close.
All right. I'll be interested to hear why.
So yeah, Rotom, I think it's bad. I think Rotom EX is bad, and I think that
I think it's meh. I can see the line here. I just don't think that.
I just don't think it's better than any of the alternatives.
Yeah, that's my issue with a lot of Lightning type cards right now. Is it's like, okay, you're competing because Lightning's kind of like Dinosaur from Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit. In that you're kind of competing with like every other card in that archetype because you can play them all together.
Yeah,
and that inherently creates a problem with viability for new ones. They have to do something better than all other Lightning type cards, or else you're not going to really consider it.
Yep, and it just doesn't. I mean, if you want fast early damage, you have so many better options. So I think that putting this in bad is fair. I'm going to put Pachirisu there as well, because it supports.
I think Pachirisu's worse.
Yeah, it is worse. It supports a, in my opinion, a bad card, and it does it in a way that has a chance of discarding the card that you want in the first place.
Right.
So,
which is like why it's pretty like that's why I think that this card generically, like this strategy of just randomly discarding from your deck rather than from your hand, is almost always worse.
Agreed. Unless you have an ability, and we don't in the game, as far as I'm aware, to discard large chunks of your deck.
Yeah. Or you get to choose what you discard.
Yes,
is another.
Yes,
another would be fine.
So moving on to Electros for 2 energy. This does 20 more damage for.
I think this is bad.
Energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. Let me finish reading it. I don't think it's great, but I do think that this has a spot in something, for example, like Prog, specifically because it can go infinite, especially against the Psychic ramping decks that like I like to play. Against Steel, it does a ton of extra damage because it just requires so much energy to have on it. In the general metagame, it's not very good, but I do think that this is Prog relevant, specifically because of what we've seen in Prog so far in Season 2.
Yeah, I would probably agree that it's got a place in Prog, but I think outside of that, I don't think this is ever going to see actual real play.
No. All right, so the last electric card that we have is Heliolisk. I don't know why I have Heliolisk in there. I missed it.
I think Heliolisk is okay.
You think okay? You want to talk about Heliolisk? We can talk about Heliolisk.
Yeah, I mean it goes with the guy from Crimson Blaze. What's his name?
Crimson Blaze? Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh, I forgot about that because he works with Magneton.
Magneton, yeah.
But so yeah, what is his name?
What is his name? Dude, there's so many supporters now in the game. It's
something backpack.
James, backpack. I'm sorry, Pat is interrupting you. How rude. Very true. He gets used to it though.
Clement. I am used to it. Yeah, Clement is who you're thinking.
Clement. Okay, I think you said come on, and I was just like waiting for you to say, come on, man.
Come on, man.
So anyway. Yeah, I think generically
Turkey Pear said Clement. There you go.
There you go.
Argentum
Clement
said
from
Clement.
Argentum as well. Uh,
Clement's upper scale brother, Clement.
yeah. Yeah, so I think generically because of that it works well. I mean, it's 70 damage off of 1 energy, granted spread, but that sets you up for Cyrus plays, which is not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And Clement, doesn't that boost its damage or something?
Yeah, I believe it boosts every tick of damage by 10, which makes this do 100 for
Yeah, which I
me.
think is pretty darn good. And for that reason, I'm in.
Da, da, da. Yeah, Clement's backpack during this turn. Oh, attacks used by your Magneton or Helios do plus 20 damage to your opponent's Pokemon. So no, I'm wrong. This does 100 and math. No, I was right. No, I was wrong. This does
So it does
130
40.
damage.
So right now it does 70. So if it's hitting, if it's hitting all 4, right? So then it's going to do an additional 80. So it'll do 150 for 1 energy.
Oh yeah, because the active Pokemon. You're right. You're right. So
Yeah, and
yes,
you know who has?
150.
Do you want to guess who has Clement in Prague?
I know you do. I also have Clement's backpack.
You no, do you have Clement?
No, but I have Clement's backpack, which is the one that does the damage.
Hey, no, I thought it was Clement's backpack searches, doesn't it?
Clement's backpack does damage. Clement searches.
Oh, okay. I got you. No, you're right. I just pulled it up.
Brian Bridge, I'd like to point out that this is probably the set with the best art in the entire game, aside from my lovely Rainbow Infernape.
Yeah, the art is actually pretty solid.
It is. I love a lot of the art in this set. We always talk art at the end, so
Yeah, I do. But yeah, no, I do obviously have Clement and Clement's backpack. So I mean, generically, like this is great. I think in Prague, I think this is also great in general. If you want to run a Clement deck, I'd rather run this just because that spread damage is huge, dude. Doing 30 to the bench to all of them,
well, and
guaranteed,
that's
is a lot.
what Magneton does. But I think Magneton only does like 20 damage to the active, so this is more efficient. Although I
Yeah, it
think
does
it has
20 damage to everything. So this also does more damage to
Yeah.
what's sitting in front of you. Yeah.
So
So I generically think that this is pretty good. And it's searchable, so I mean it's
so
all.
do you want niche or
I would probably put it a tier above Luxray and Electros because I could see you running this over what's currently existing if you want that flavor of deck. Like if you want to run a strictly Clement focused deck, which I think would be competitive, you would run this.
Yeah.
And I think that that's fine.
dope? All right. So we are moving on to Psychic. We have Hypno first, which has a Psychic attack. So we'll talk about that at the same time, actually. Let's talk about Hypno. I think Mewtwo is the other one, and
Yeah,
the
we just talk about
trainer
everything
card.
that's Psychic as an attack.
So Psychic, this is 20 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So it is 3 energy, does on a stage 1, so it doesn't really attack on curve. Not the best thing in the world. Then we have Psychic on Mewtwo, which does 10 plus. This attack does 40 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, so it ramps much faster at the cost of doing less base damage. And
but you're only using that attack when they have energy, and if they don't have energy, I mean you're just better off, right?
And that pairs 100% pairs with where is it? The card called Psychic. Choose one of your. You can only use this card if a Pokemon in an active spot has a Psychic attack. And then choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and move a random energy from it to your opponent's active Pokemon, which is really interesting for 2 reasons. Number 1, it buffs your attack damage, which is nice, but I probably still wouldn't do this if it doesn't KO the opponent's Pokemon, because they're gonna be 1 energy closer to being able to KO you. And as we saw, Mewtwo and Hypno don't have a whole lot of HP. But if you rip energy off of a bench Pokemon, put it onto their active Pokemon, power up your attack enough that you can then KO their active Pokemon, you essentially removed an energy from your opponent, which is incredibly toxic, and I love it.
Yeah, I just think that it's so niche.
It is extremely niche, but it's a very interesting interaction.
Yes, I think that is like, it boosts your damage, and it also theoretically does remove an energy. I think the problem is it's, not the most common in the game for, them to have like energy on the bench that's going to be sufficient, but
It's true.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of difficult to rate until we see it in action, but I really don't think that this is going to be particularly insane.
No,
In
and
my opinion, says Brian Bridge, Psychic Supporter sucks. Fair enough.
I think it's niche. Like it has its place.
I
You
think
can
it would
build a
be.
deck
I
around
think I
it,
could see
but
this in Prague. I think I'll see this in Prague, and I think
oh,
outside of that, probably not.
I'm gonna call it right now. You're gonna pull Psychic. You're gonna play Psychic, and remove 1 energy off of my Ranculus on the bench, which reduces its HP by 30, which KOs it, and then attack my active Pokemon for game.
I like this idea. This is a good idea.
So
Let's do that.
I'm gonna
Let's do
throw
exactly that.
I think I'm gonna put Hypno. I don't know. I don't like Hypno itself. I'd rather put Hypno in bad and Mewtwo in niche alongside Psychic. Personally,
I think I would rather play Mewtwo than Hypno. I
Yeah.
think that Hypno, the fact that it's cost the same, arguably does less. I think generically is just not that good. It's not
Agreed.
that good.
All right, Brian Bridge, Morty is a better supporter, and that's a sad statement to say.
Yes, I would agree with that as well.
What does Morty do while I look at the next card?
Morty allows you to I think it's like see your opponent's deck.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that card sucks.
Like, and that thing's terrible. We have Alolan Raichu and Golduck with Color Psychic. That's also true. Yeah, that is. We actually have a really good Golduck with Psychic because it's 1 energy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's a good point. Okay, now I love this card. I love the other baby in the set too. Mime Junior.
Okay, realistically, we should talk about both of them. Go do this one and then do the next one, and then I want to get your opinion on which one you think is better.
Okay. Grab where did he go? Why not? So Mime Junior. Shuffle your hand into your deck. Draw a card for each card in your opponent's hand. So it's literally just Copycat. It's Copycat on legs.
Yeah.
Then we have Why Not. Does 10 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, attacks used by the defending Pokemon cost 1 more. So they do 2 very different things. This is just, it's a worse version of Cleffa from Neos. Cleffa, for those of you who don't know, in Neos back in 2000 or 2001, whatever, when it came out, you attack with it, and you you shuffle first, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so you shuffle your hand into the deck, and then you draw 7 cards, which means you just dump your entire hand on the field every single turn and refill it. Well, Mime Jr. does the exact same thing. It just requires your opponent to actually have a hand, which if you're starting the game with this, your opponent will have a hand, so you're probably going to be drawing somewhere between 3 and 4 cards, which means, again, you dump everything onto the field. Ideally, you even play a prof or a copycat turn 1 to get more things. Play those, and then you Mime Junior to refill your hand, and you draw through like 12 cards, 13 cards in one turn.
Insane.
It is actually insane. Now, it does something very different from what Why Not, and Why Not is also good in my opinion, but for a very different reason.
I think both of them are good, but different reasons. Yeah.
Why Not stalls. So
Why Not is hilarious.
It is
because in a battle between Why Not and Mime Jr., Why Not wins.
Yes, that's the funniest interaction, because the whole gimmick of babies is they don't require energy to attack, but Why Not makes them cost the color's energy.
Why not do that? And just makes them cost energy again, and it's freaking hilarious. I love that.
It is. I think both of these are like A or S tier cards. I think that objectively
really good.
Yeah, I think objectively Mime Jr. is better. Well, Why Not is good and funnier. Like this is just
Mime Jr. Mime Jr. advances your strategy, and Why Not prevents your opponents.
Exactly.
And that always is going to be worse. But unless it's like incredibly broken and toxic, in that case it won't be. But no, everyone hates that when that happens.
Yes. So I think that it's fair if we put. I would put Why Not in good and Mime Jr. I think honestly in meta defining, because I think it's going to go in basically every single deck.
I don't know if I'll say it's going to be in every single deck, because the attack cost is a lot, but the fact that it's color or it's not even colorless, it doesn't require an energy. The fact that it doesn't require an energy and is functionally turn 1, that does help it out a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you can never say that a card's going to be in literally every deck unless it's, copycat or professors or
Yeah.
whatever. But I think that it's going to, I mean, you can play it in every deck, and you have to have a really good reason to not be playing Mime Jr. So unlike Munchlax, for example, where it's a good card, but there's plenty of reason not to play it. It's got a retreat cost. It's only drawing
Yeah.
one. Mime Jr., you have to look at that and really say, I really, really need X card to not play Mime Jr. Brian
Yeah.
Bridge, I played Apom, that's essentially a copycat, and I'd say it's good but not great. Mime Jr. would probably be good but not great. Well, Apom required energy, right? I think that's
Yeah,
the big
the problem.
difference.
Because that's the same thing with what's it called? Chatot. Chatot
Yep.
did the same. Chatot was copycat before copycat. It just required energy. It still like saw some play. I played it,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, that was the problem. That's the benefit for Mime Junior is, as James was saying, you could dump your whole hand, play copycat, dump your hand again, then Mime Junior and copycat again. And you've gone now ahead and drawn 6, 7, 8, 9 cards.
Yeah, and Mime Jr., and that's the problem with Chatot, with Apom. They come online later. Your opponent's already played most of their hand. If you turn one Mime Jr., it's just straight gas. Like every other baby, the later in the game you get it, the less useful it is. But I mean,
Yeah.
the difference is if a game opening Mime Jr. versus a game not opening Mime Jr. are two completely. You're playing apples to oranges.
Yes, I would agree.
Tricky Pair, I feel like the meta is too dangerous for babies. Evolution cancels the effect. You're talking about does it? Does it cancel
Yeah,
Why Not's effect?
Yeah, because it's only that Pokemon. But oh no, I don't know if it cancels. Does it? Do we know
Because it
if
says
it cancels
the
effect?
defending Pokemon, so it should apply. I would think.
It depends on who the effect is. This is like well, it's affecting the trainer, not the Pokemon.
Yeah,
nonsense.
I think a big difference. I'm inclined to believe Turkey Pair says the defending Pokemon as opposed to the Pokemon in your opponent's active slot is the verbiage I think they would use.
That probably would be how it'd be phrased. That's right.
So I think he's right, which is a very good point actually, especially like playing into like a boosted evolution Eevee or any
But if you're playing specifically something that it's turn 1 and you're just trying to stall out your opponent's baby or something like that, right? Like that's pretty good then.
Yeah, I mean it's still a lot of reason to play it, less reason to play it I think than Mime Jr., but I still think there's nothing wrong with playing Why Not. It is generally good, but that is a very good point that you can immune the effect or remove the effect by evolving.
Yeah.
That's a very good thing to keep in mind. Moving on to Daddy Mime here.
Daddy Mime, that's what they called me in high school.
Brian Bridge, whenever the language defending Pokemon is used, it's always able to cancel. Yep, that's what I thought. Synchro Dance, 40 plus. If this Pokemon and your opponent's active Pokemon have the same amount of energy, this attack does 40 more damage. I don't think that it's good. I think that it's 70 HP, 40 damage. It's going to be doing 40 damage most of the time. I hate these where it's like, oh, if your opponent has 3 cards in their hand, or if they have 2 energy on their Pokemon, just like you do, there's so much variability there. And if you're counting on your opponent, I always say this, if you're counting on your opponent to do something that they don't naturally do through the course of the game, or that you can't force them to do through the effect of another card, it's a bad card. Mr. Mime is a bad card.
I don't know if I'll say that it's like an awful card.
It's not the worst card in the world. I'm not saying
it's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Hypno. Like Hypno's not the worst card in the world, but there are better options, and you would never play it.
Right.
Lucas says Mime Jr. is too much of a dead card anywhere besides turn 1, and you are completely right, but I think that's a good enough reason to run one copy.
I mean, because it's a dead card anytime outside of turn 1, and we saw that in Dragonite decks.
Yep. And yeah, that's a good point. And I mean, you could arguably say something very similar about even the energy generating babies, because once your opponent is doing damage, they're 30 HP. You're just giving them a free point in exchange for 1 free energy, which is most of the time not worth it. But we still run energy generating babies because if you open with them, it's just absolutely insane.
Yep.
Brian Bridge, James, you clearly never played Grumpig. That card is hilarious. Well, actually,
Is
I
that the
met
one that's like if you have an even number of cards in your hand or something like that, it does the
uh
damage? Because I think the Ludicolo is the one that does it if you have an odd number.
Ludicolo is odd. You're right. What is uh if I'm gonna make sure I remember Grumpig. Yeah, okay, I definitely had it wrong. Yeah, if your opponent has exactly 2, 4, or 6 cards in their hand, this attack does 40 more damage. Yeah, no, yeah, and then Ludicolo, at least Ludicolo, you can kind of force it with
Yeah,
was
because you
that
can
Walking
red
Path?
card.
Or you can red card. I guess Grumpig you could run it with Nasty Notice, force them down to 4 cards. But and again, playable. Certainly you can do it, but unlike those where there's actually some way to manipulate your opponent's hand, it's a lot harder to manipulate energy on their Pokemon because even if this attack was called Psychic, you could at least do it with Psychic, but it's not. It's Synchro Dance, so that
Yeah.
card doesn't work. DJ Kala,
That's my problem with the one we were talking about earlier that I can't remember who it is now off the top of my head, but like basically has the psychic effect, but isn't
Mm-hmm.
called psychic, so it doesn't get the benefit, which sucks.
Yep. All right, next we have Ralts. So I mean, I don't think this is controversial that this is our best routes because if we look at the other Ralts, what they do, so we have 10 damage, get them out of the active slot, which has its value, especially if you're playing like the GA Ralts, but not so much if you're playing the Fantastical Parade Gardevoir. We have another teleport. We have Confuse Ray, which is good for stunning. We have this piece of garbage because it doesn't attack for 2 turns. And then we have Lead, which can be potentially crazy because put a random support card from your deck into your hand. It does exactly what.
If you're reading all of these, I can't see them. I just see the lead Ralts. And now I'm starting to realize I think you were doing this earlier too.
There we go.
Okay, so what's the piece of garbage?
This guy.
Oh yeah, that thing's terrible.
Yes. But
I still like the teleport Ralts just because you could get it out of the active slot. I think that's better. I don't know about like
well,
lead's okay.
the
But then that
question
leaves it terrible.
becomes which Gardevoir are you going into? Because if you're going to GA Gardevoir,
No, not Gardevoir. We're going into Glade EX here.
I'm not going into Glade EX. I don't know who the hell you're talking about. I'm going into
Okay,
Gardevoir.
okay. If you're doing lead on Ralts, you're going into Glade EX because you're grabbing a Wally, putting another energy on it, and then donking your opponent for 150 the following turn. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you could do that. Or alternatively,
or you could grab Psychic and
shut the you almost made me say bad words. If you're going into you use it there for Glade EX. You're using it for Fantastical Parade. The 1 point Gardevoir using it for Guard, Mega Guard, because those need to be in the active slot. And if you're using it for GA Gardevoir, you want the teleport one because then you can move it for free back into the excuse me, back into onto the bench. But being able to search out a supporter card, it thins your deck. It gives you the opportunity to get, why can't I think of what Juliet or Julian? Who's the one who searches out stage 2s?
Juliana.
Juliana, thank you. To get Juliana, to get a copycat, to get professors. I mean, being able to thin your deck and get cards that are going to further thin your deck and further your strategy, I think are always it's really good, especially on a one energy basic. Always comes with the downside of it. You do have to place an energy. It is only 60 HP, so there's always a chance that you get KO'd on the crackback. But that's a decision that I think that can be mitigated relatively easily. You just put the one energy on it and retreat it into something else. Or you just don't use lead and you rare candy into Gardevoir right away, so you survive the hit.
I just think that you play teleport with Gardevoir, and I think you play the lead one with Mega Glade because of this inherent synergy between the cards.
Well, and I don't disagree with that, but you also play lead with Fantastical Parade. You only play teleport if you're playing Genetic Apex Gardevoir. You do not play that one if you are playing Fantastical Parade Gardevoir.
Why not?
Because Fantastical Parade Gardevoir needs to be in the active spot.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, because that's to attack.
Yep.
I generically usually think that playing playing Ralts, you typically don't necessarily want it to get donked in the active slot, which is why I like I treat it like Magikarp, right? Like where Magikarp, I want that thing out as soon as possible of the active slot on my bench so I can protect it.
Yes, well, and that makes sense if it's the card you want to ramp and then bring back in later. But if
But
you're
if it's your
playing,
opener, I see what you're
yes, exactly. Argentum says non-mega Gallade. I know we have one of those. This guy.
Yeah, Glady X, Energized
Stadium
Blade.
and just,
No, Glady X. Nobody cares about this guy.
No, I know, but Argentum brought up this guy.
No, he said
DJ.
non-mega. He didn't say non-EX.
Oh, this old guy.
Yeah, that guy. Does for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. This is again is psychic, but not called psychic, so it doesn't benefit anymore.
Oh, yeah. I get what you're saying. DJ College, does James missing his ET status imply he's back on his home planet? I'm traveling there right now,
Yeah.
actually. That's
I'm traveling there right now, he says.
So
hold on.
We're holding on. I'm
Yeah.
gonna put Ralts up here, and I don't know. I think it's better than Niche. I don't think in and of itself. I'll put it in good, but I think the bottom makes sense because it's not on the same level inherently by itself as Vespiquen or Typhlosion. But if it is a better route. So here, I'll put it down here.
I think it gives you more options.
It does.
I'm still not convinced that it's overall better. I think it's an option, and I think it's a creative option, and I like that.
Yep. The more options we have in the game, the better. Otherwise, the game gets very stale. Next up, we have Chimecho. If you have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent, okay, yeah, this goes back into but you can at least manipulate that. So I don't know. I don't really have any more to add after that conversation earlier.
No, I think this thing's kind of booty.
His house is a spaceship and his cats are his owners. The cats do own me. That is 100% accurate. Next up, we have Hoopa.
You know this guy in real life because he's gotten that exactly right.
One energy. Before doing damage, shuffle all Pokemon tools from each of your opponent's Pokemon into their deck. This specifically, you play this if the Denny EX were, for whatever reason, meta viable, which it's not. So again, it's a very niche card. Real quick, I think that throwing it in niche makes sense. Or maybe you play it again into Steel because they have Steel Core Barrier on their Pokemon. Or yeah, I mean there's tons of use cases for this. That being said, I would probably just rather play Guzma because Guzma just invalidates all of that, and you don't have to attack for 20 damage.
Right.
So I think niche or maybe meh, because I see what you're trying to do. I see why you're releasing it when you did. Would have made more sense in the last set than this one, but Guzma just does it better. DJ Call, I'm in his space closet right now. Help, he's abducted me.
I'm in his space closet. James, look out.
Nah, hang on. I gotta go. Gotta go make sure that he didn't take his gag off.
Me.
James,
what are you doing to these people? He just wanders off. What are you doing? Hey, you can't talk to your wife like that. Come on.
Let's talk to DJ Call. He's in the closet.
Okay.
All right. What do we got?
DJ Call, get out. What are you doing in there?
What are you doing in there? Pipe down.
Yeah, really.
Then we have Oricorio.
Pipe down hours, my guy.
What's that?
I said real pipe down hours.
All right, we've got Oricorio. Discard a card from your hand. If you can't, this attack does nothing. This just feeds into the Soul Shot strategies, but I think it does it really well because it is a basic for 1 energy doing 50 damage off of a discard. I think that's the same, right? It's the same damage like Sableye was doing, but for 2 energy and only had 70 HP, I think. I think this is a really good Soul Shot card.
Oricorio?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so because it's a turn 1 Soul Shot that does 50 damage. I think it's I think it's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's
and you
like
can discard
generically.
anything. So if you're doing Psychic Soul Shot, it goes in there. If you're doing what's the Hisuian Zoroark, it goes in there. If you're doing, for whatever reason, somehow you're playing Psychic Electric, it can go into the Rotom deck. Every version of Soul
Well,
Shot.
you still would need to run. The problem is it's not colorless, so you still need to run.
Well,
Psychic Energy.
that's why I was saying if for whatever reason you were running a Psychic
Yeah.
Electric deck.
I still don't think you would. I still don't think that you would run it in Rotom, but I think you would run it. I think that would be pretty fine in the if you're going for damage output, that's pretty good in the Zoroark EX deck. But I do think that you probably still would want the water package just because of some of the support we got in this set.
Agreed.
I'll pipe down, please.
No, read the one before that.
I'm not reading that. You can read that.
I'm not reading that. I regret making that. I regret making that a joke for like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to fighting. First, we have Hariyama. This card is terrible. So we got a card that actually does decent damage for 3 energy, which is still a lot on a stage 1 that doesn't, in a type that doesn't ramp. But then it makes you take an additional 50 damage on 120 HP. You're just. This card may as well just do 120 damage and then burn 3 energy and this card.
Yeah.
Like, this is... Come on. Fighting got one good set, and now they're bringing this trash back.
Like, fighting got too much. You got too much good.
Yeah. B-Man, in before Psychic Electric deck in Prague. Facts! Patrick,
Yeah, really.
Patrick be like, I'm on another 10 loss streak.
Yeah, I'm on a 10 loss streak because this guy over here is bringing whatever that is.
Energy sequencing. Yeah, no, I would be the one to win with that, though.
Yeah, really.
All right, then we have Armaldo. Discard all energy from this Pokemon. Choose a spot from among your opponent's active spot and bench. At the end of your opponent's next turn, KO the Pokemon in the spot you chose. This is interesting because, again, it is a guaranteed KO, and you can manipulate what your opponent's doing. If you choose their active slot, then they essentially have to KO you. Because remind me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if they KO Armaldo, this effect doesn't go off, right? Or does it still go off?
I think it still goes off.
Does it still?
I don't know yet.
Well, I'll have to test that. But because we've had another card like this, and I never ran that test. But assuming that it does, they have to KO you or get it out of the active slot, or except they're going to lose it. So what you do is you target wherever they have the Mega Pokemon, whether it be the active slot or an EX, if we already have 1 point.
Right.
You target the active. If it's in the active slot, it forces them to pull it out, which is a suboptimal play, and put in something else that gets KO'd. If you target the bench, it forces them to swap in, and as long as they weren't already planning on swapping in next turn, again, you're forcing your opponent to make a suboptimal play. The only problem is that fighting doesn't have ramp. You're not going to ramp Armaldo very quickly. Yes, let me get there. Let me get there. Yes, you have 2 colorless energy, so there are other ways that you can get energy onto this Pokemon that aren't just fighting type, which is really nice. But
like Wally.
Like Wally, but that is additional hoops that you have to get through. So there's a lot of give and take in this card. Come again?
Attack on curve.
It does attack on curve. You're correct.
It attacks on curve. And the current deck that includes Armaldo runs
is it Ariados?
Ariados.
Yep. Yeah, Brian Bridge said in the chat. That's how I know that.
Oh, okay. I didn't even. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I saw it on. I think it was Tilly had did that one. But yeah, so it runs Ariados, so it's like pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think this is interesting. I just want to point out there is a lot of give and take there, and which means the consistency. It's not a consistent card, but I mean, it's got a lot of payoff. And I always love forcing your opponent to make suboptimal plays, even if this card doesn't in one go win you the game. In order to extend the game, they have to make suboptimal plays. DJ Kala said they peaked at Hala Hariyama and refused to give up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So, all right, I think that Armaldo. I think
Armaldo
good.
is
It's
meh.
good. You think it's meh?
I think it's.
Or you want to put it in niche?
Just like that, niche is fine. I think I could see this in Prague.
Yeah, that's fair. After defending it so fervently.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just. Yes, there's things to do. Yes, there's all this stuff, but at the end of the day, is like, that really what you want to be doing with your time? You know.
Now
So
moving
like that's the
on,
problem.
moving on to Groudon. Groudon's bad. Anyway,
Ground,
so
yeah.
moving
Anyway,
on to Mega Glade EX. Why don't you read this one
I
while I
think that
move
this is
Groudon?
actually seeing now like the lead ralts particularly and working with this and then some of the other stuff that we have like this actually is pretty consistent for the
Mm-hmm.
150 damage because there's a lot of supporters you'd want to play with it. Like a Lily comes to mind obviously as an option that you can then heal it and then do damage. Like I feel like now like I would think I was not hyping this card up enough just because I was just thinking like, well, is Savali good? No. Well, Savali isn't good now because it just has no HP.
Yep.
But you know, there are so many more supporters that Savali would be able to play off now, and that obviously Mega Gallade can play off now. That I think that this actually does have a shot. Now, is it amazing? Probably not. But it's fighting type. It benefits from fighting type support. Benefits from Wally's ramp. Benefits from all the stage 2 support that we have now in the game. I think it's got a good shot. I think it's got a good shot. It can do I think 200 damage to using a Karina and Arena of
Oh, yep,
Antiquity. It can do 200 damage
yep.
to EXs, which is pretty freaking good. So I think it's
Does
if you
that
want to
work
play a
if?
different flavor of fighting, it works.
Hang on, I gotta refresh. Like,
What? Are you thinking does it work on EXs? Yes.
does it work? Okay, yeah, it
Like
does.
EXs?
Yeah, it just doesn't work on non. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know sometimes they put restrictions like if the card using it is an EX, it doesn't
Right.
work. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, I think that this DJ Collis says Savali flashbacks facts just better in this case.
Well, and also think about it this way, James, because it's fighting, you can actually run it with Rampardos, and it will benefit from the same stage 2 support that Rampardos does.
Yep, that's very true. DJ Collis says I like disrupting opponents' games more directly. My guy's over here playing the dark type. Brian Bridge, Pat, you watch Tilly. I watch him too, but he gets so negative about the game that it's hard to watch.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes.
It's kind of hard to watch, yeah. I agree. That's like
Good
I
vibes
don't
only
think that
here.
I don't think you'll ever see, frankly, videos from us that are maybe I don't want to say like you'll never see it, but we tend to avoid putting out anything that's like if even if we're not enjoying it, just don't add to the negativity
Mm-hmm.
of some members of the community. Like I don't Tilly's fine. Like yeah, he's a little bit overly negative in my opinion.
Well,
But
that's not to
that's
say we
his
can't
choice, I guess.
criticize, DNA or
Yeah, I don't
whatever
say you
when they
can't
make.
criticize it, but we typically will put out stuff that's positive. Like if I really like a set, I'm gonna put out a video about why I like the set.
Yeah. Well,
Like I
and
think I did
just
that with Eevee Grove.
yeah, just like with when Bounded Field came out, I thought that and still do that. Generally speaking,
Yeah,
it's
just
just
had a crash out.
yeah, I did. It's just not a healthy card for the game. But that's not me saying like, oh, the game is dead or I hate the game, whatever. It's just the reason
Yeah,
if we criticize anything, it's because we want the game to succeed. And we try to
right.
come at it from a okay, this is logically why I think this is potentially bad for the game, why this is potentially toxic for the game. Just like it's fine to criticize, for example, if Suicune or Sleep Scum are the meta deck for
Yeah,
3-4 months in a row because then the meta gets stale and it's just not fun. So you criticize, oh, DNA needs to release something to counter it, and then we get Butterfree. So eventually we get it. No, I follow you guys for the Machamp content. No, don't
yes,
bring
yeah.
up
The
don't bring
Machamp
up
content,
Machamp.
the best part.
Mods ban this man.
No. Promote him immediately.
DJ Khaled, did you know that a male and female Ralts can become a Glade, but only females can be Gardevoir? I think
No, you have that backwards. It's only males become
Yeah,
delayed with the Dawnstone.
I thought that was the case. I'm not gonna pretend that I have
Yeah. No.
encyclopedic Pokemon knowledge. Same
Oh
with
yeah,
Salandit.
Salandit. Yeah,
Yep.
Salandit's correct though, and that's like a 12.5% to have a Salandit be a female. Too,
I was
which is
so
really good.
mad when I first played it. I didn't know that. I was like, why is this thing not
Yeah.
evolving?
It's like level. That was like me when I was young and I was trying to evolve a Tropius because I didn't know Chimecho was a thing.
All right, so moving
So
on. Poochyena. I just wanted to throw this in there because, again, I think throw this in the meh because Team Hunt, draw a card for each Poochyena you have in play. I like this effect. Only problem is, of course, it evolves into Mightyena, which doesn't do anything. But this effect in particular, I think, should go on more basics, where it's just additional draw power and it's reasons to run I'm saying non-meta Pokemon, but like it could be enough to push an otherwise mediocre Pokemon or average Pokemon
Yeah.
into playability by having this effect right here. So I'm gonna put
But
this up here in
I will
meta.
say this. I will say this. It needs to be not Poochyena or like not another named card because
Yeah,
going back to what we were talking about earlier, when at the very beginning with Wurmple and whatnot, you only have another copy. You have one other copy.
yeah. So it
So
caps it at
once you
2.
yeah, so caps it at 2, and really that's not as good. That's why I liked I think Combi from the originals like Space Time Smackdown, if I'm remembering correctly, and I think Caterpie has this as well, where it just searches like any basic. And I think that's pretty good.
Yep, yep. That too. That also a very good effect. Brian Bridge, Mighty a terrible card, good art of a good boy.
Yeah,
Very
I
true.
do. I like
I love
Mightyena as a
Mightyena.
Pokemon. I like Mightyena more than I like Absol,
Agreed.
by far.
Agreed. So moving on, Galarian Obstagoon. So compare this to the other one, which did more damage if the opponent had already had damage on it. This attack does 80 damage to one. This is crucial. Uh,
And it benefits from
okay.
Wally.
It does, but yes, thank you, sir. Benefits from Wally. This attack does 80 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. That means it's a bench sniper, and 80 damage is a lot. We look back to Decidueye EX. Decidueye also did 80 damage to any of your opponent's Pokemon, and then the 100, I believe, was it already had to have damage on it. So, and that was an EX Pokemon. This is just strictly better than Decidueye because it doesn't have that restriction, and it's also a 1-point card. And you can also play this with whatever the trainer is that removes energy as well. So this is just pure. You disrupt your opponents in the active spot with by removing 2 energy with the trainer card, and then you start sniping things on the bench. They can't hit back because they just lost 2 energy, and you're 1 or 2 tapping everything on their bench, which they thought was safe because it was full health.
Right.
I think that this
Like
is
80 damage is a lot, and the fact that
Yeah.
you can get this going on curve now with Wally, I think is actually insane.
It really is. So I think I think it's better than niche. I do think that I think maybe it's niche. Maybe it's niche because it is still what do you think, Patrick? I'll toss this one to you.
I would say it's probably niche prog relevant because there's just anytime you're running a stage 2 basic dark Pokemon, you have to compete with Hydreigon for deck
True.
space, and I think Hydreigon's just better.
True.
But if you don't have access to Hydreigon, aka me, then this is actually really good.
Facts.
This is a good card to consider. So with that in mind, I that would be my rationale.
No, I agree. DJ Kala, we should really do dedicated streams for the art rares because the game is gorgeous. I was actually thinking about that while I was prepping for this stream, so maybe that'll happen in the near future. Tricky Paris, that's a crazy take. Pat the Brian Bird says, Pat, the art for this set's Absol sucks bad. Coming from an Absol and Mightyena fan. Let's jump to Absol. We'll come back to whatever this guy.
And then we got to read DJ Kala's rant here in a second.
Yeah.
All right.
Real quick, Absol. That's a fine art, but I get what you're saying. I don't know if I hate this art. This is just Skarmory. I mean, I don't think this is a very good card. DJ Kala, let me rant for a second. I don't understand why regional evolved forms are region specific. Only Galarian Zigzagoons can be Obstagoons.
Yep.
I don't know, bro. Maybe I don't know. I've got nothing.
With that is that they're going to put out something that is going to play to the tag of Galarian. That'll be like a generic support card, if you will, right? Like I don't know, like Chairman Rose or something. And it just benefits everything that's called Galarian, like or Hisuian or Alolan.
That
like,
would be
really
nice.
I think that'd be cool.
And
that'd be really cool.
And that also pushes them more towards the archetypes themselves.
Yeah, which I think is where they're headed as it is.
Yeah. The only difference is currently in the game, it's not. I don't think it's coded as a tag the way that Ultra, Future, and Ultra Beast are. Ancient, Future, and Ultra Beast. So that would require a coding change.
They already play to the name Galarian Obstagoon, obviously with Piers, right? So theoretically, you could do something similar, just drop the Obstagoon piece. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't see why they couldn't do that if they wanted to.
Turkey
Skarmory
says,
plus 10. If you know, you know. Yep.
yeah. Oh, you're saying yes. I thought you meant damage. I was like, they do the same damage. Yeah, Skarmory has 10 extra HP because it's a steel type as opposed to dark type. So it has inherently more HP native to its type. But yeah, nobody plays Skarmory. Why would anyone play Absol? I don't think it's a good card.
I played a lot of Skarmory. What are you talking about? That was a great card for a while.
Nobody plays
Oh,
current
nobody plays.
tense.
I thought you said nobody played.
No, I played Skarmory. I played Skarmory until like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I played. You played Skarmory with Skarmory EX. You're like, I can't
Yes.
get enough of Skarmory.
It was just
What a
straight
great-
Skarmory.
What a great Generation 3 Pokemon, right?
Don't bait me. All right. Last dark type, we have Swalot. Sorry, I was going to say something mean. If your opponent's active Pokemon has less remaining HP than this Pokemon, does 80 more damage.
He's okay. I see what Turkey Bear. So he's talking about the new tool. Yeah, the tool is actually really good with Absol.
Oh, yeah, yes. I mean, yeah, it is. It's also good.
It's really good with Absol.
I mean, it's just generic dark support, but yeah, I see what you mean by
But
it's
Absol
good
gets
there.
the benefit initially.
Yeah.
And then now it does 60 turn 1, and that's enough to KO most basics.
Now that's a very good point. If you're KOing basics, that's very frustrating. All right, so yeah, this is I don't like it. I mean, this is kind of the inverse, right, of what Midnight Form Lycanroc was doing back in the day, and that saw only a little bit of play because it was in fighting type and alongside Rampardos. And why are you ever running this? I mean, it's only got 120 HP, so you're never getting the extra damage, even if this thing is full HP against EXs. You're only finishing things off, in which case, just play something with more base damage at the first place.
I can't wait to play this against you and win. Anyway.
Yeah, no, that freaking tracks. Oh, I was wrong about that being our last dark type. I forgot that Hoopa EX exists. Hoopa EX.
Yeah, this card is the best card in the set.
This attack also does 20 damage when your opponent's bench Pokemon, and then Dynamite Punch. This also does 20 damage to itself. I see why it's
Dynamite Punch you basically never use.
Okay.
So here's the deck.
Yeah.
Here's the deck, and this is like the
Skarmory
right
Armory.
So you run a copy of Mega Absol or Darkrai, depending on what you're trying to do, right?
Yep.
2 copies of Hoopa EX, and then you also run Greninja. And what you're with a Deceptive Needle attached to Hoopa for the most part. And what you're just doing is having this thing sitting in there and just pinging everything constantly. It's so annoying and it's so good. So you're doing just a ton of damage. And if you run, like, you could really max out with Darkrai, Hoopa EX, and Greninja. And what you do with Darkrai is you do 20. Hoopa EX does 30, 20 to the bench, 10 with Deceptive Needle, and then Greninja's able to ping another thing for 20. If you have 2 of them, that's 40. So everything gets damaged, and you get to choose where a bunch of it goes on the bench too.
No, I see that. I like it. I would hate to play against it.
It's so good,
but no, I like it. Now the question is it good or is it changing the meta? I think
I think it's changing the meta because it's
changing the meta?
Now replacing Zoroark EX in the Dark Toolbox deck almost entirely.
All right. We'll throw it up in meta defining then. B-Man says Swalot only exists for the 1-point prog round. Rip. Facts. Brian Bridge, Hoopa the best card in the set? Maybe tied for best. That's a bold statement. Well,
I would say, in my opinion, I would probably agree it's tied for best with our good boy Sharpedo, but it is right now rated the highest.
I think I would take Sharpedo is more my style.
Yeah, Sharpedo's more my style.
I could see why Hoopa's so good. B-Man, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah. I can't wait to get Hoopa and just play it against you.
I hate you.
You're just getting mad.
All right, moving into metal because I don't want to talk about this.
Okay.
Metagross, this card is freaking terrible. Flip 4 coins.
Actually, no. This is a great card, James. Can I explain to you?
No. Yeah, okay, yeah, go for it.
Okay, so first of all, it uses 2 colorless energy, which we all know benefits from Wally, obviously, which we've talked about a lot. and which will be the probably the best card in the set. I mean, honestly, like we're talking about a lot of Pokemon, but like that's probably the best card in the set. But yeah, so it benefits from that, right? So then you bring this thing out, it can attack pretty much on curve, right, which is pretty good. But then, right when you need it to, it hits all four heads and causes your friend to absolutely crash out. Worth every penny.
I forgot that I can't mute you in Streamlabs because I'm using a Discord audio. I moved your video, but your voice kept going.
Oh my gosh.
No, this card is bad. Stop, don't play it. Moving on to Metal Machamp. No. If you play Metagross and I lose to 4 heads, I'm actually going to crash. Not okay,
I think I'm
crash
gonna
out
need a
last
new
time.
co-host.
I will drive to your house. So Mega Metagross EX. This tech does 10 more damage for each metal energy attached to this Pokemon. So obviously it's 3 colorless, but you're gonna be running it with metal. So it starts at 130 damage. Why? Like, if you're going to do this,
this. I was hoping there's gonna be something like Steven that ranks it or something, and it doesn't, and it's like, wow.
Well, okay, if you're gonna do this, Genesect is a better option because it's a 1-point card, so losing it's not the end of the world. And Steel does have plenty of ramp. Yeah, this is a mega, obviously. And
I know, it's like I'm agreeing with you. Like, why would you do this? This is a mega.
But also, if you really want to play Exodia by stacking metal energy on a Pokemon, go play Goldango EX because that's exactly what it does, just better. And because it's also spread damage too, which I mean is always hilarious because I like random spread damage. So yeah, no, this is terrible. Don't. Why?
I don't know why they printed this card. Like
this
just makes me sad.
They hate pseudo legendaries. It's just what it is. We can't get a good pseudo legendary.
Garchomp.
I forgot the Garchomp. I was thinking of Tyranitar.
We got a lot of comments here. That's name that deck in Darkseid Clean. What? Darkseid Clean?
Darkseid Clean.
Okay.
I like OxyClean.
Oh, okay. Zacharoni and Cheese. This may be my favorite set. So many of my favorite Pokemon Vespiquen. I don't play tournaments, so power non-meta is okay. True. I mean, this set is awesome. I gotta say, this is probably one of the best sets that I've ever seen.
I 100% agree. This has something for everything.
Pretty much everybody. Yeah. I think they were cooking with this set.
Yeah, even Metal has something coming up here in Reverum, in my opinion.
It's all right.
I said something. I didn't say something good.
Yeah, well, okay, Metagross is something.
No, Metagross is an insult to the type. Mega Metagross art is also unfortunate. Yes, it is. The rainbow. Jump down here real quick. Yeah, no, I'm just not into that. The two diamond. This one doesn't look so bad. But yeah, just generally the rainbow, I agree. DJ Call says, Wobbuffet! Zacharoni Cheese. Metagross is such a more fan favorite than Goldango. They should have juiced it 100%. Yeah. 100% agree. I think the next one we move on to here is Reverum. So during your next turn, this Pokemon's over acceleration does plus 70 damage. It does take 4 energy, 2 of which is colorless, which is a lot on a stage 1. Fortunately, again, Steel does have inherent ramp to it, so this can be worked around. The one nice thing is that it can have up to 2 Pokemon tool cards attached to it, which does unlock some interesting possibilities. Like, I mean, you could reduce damage to this by 100 by using 2 metal core barriers. You could reduce it by 60 and immune it to status conditions by using metal core barrier plus iron.
Well, theoretically, can't you put both? Can't you put 2 iron aprons or steel aprons on it?
Yeah, I mean, you could. But you would
be constantly reducing energy or
constantly reducing by 20. So yeah, I mean, it basically leans more into what Steel wants to do, which is just reduce damage a bunch, and the over acceleration allows it to actually put out decent amounts of damage. If this were a stage 2, then it would also have access to some really good healing, so that you could keep it up even longer. But so like I said again, I think this is a meta card. I see what it's trying to do.
I think it's
I think
really
it
cool
does it
because
well.
yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you could put 2 elegant capes on it sitting at 180 HP. You could put elegant cape plus whatever. It, I just think that it's neat that they're thinking about this, and it makes sense now why a lot of cards are written like discard all tools attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Like,
Well,
okay,
they're future-proofing cards. So they don't have to go back and errata them later on.
I have a feeling that they make the sets together, like all of set B was made, or at least a majority of it, and then maybe they fill in some gaps or something.
And
But
tweak it based on meta.
yeah, I think that they pretty much have an idea of what everything in set B is when they released Mega Rising. And at worst, I feel like they did that. They got everything set up during Deluxe Pack EX and that whole thing, and that's why it took so long.
Yeah. B-Man.
That would be the at worst.
Yeah. B-Man's Reverum and Dedenne for the memes. There you go. Now you, instead of having up to 4 tools,
oh my
you
gosh,
have
I didn't
up
even
to
think
6.
about that.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I didn't even think about
so,
that.
And Dedenne does, I mean...
Because it's per tool, right?
Yeah, because it's per tool. Now, I still don't think Dedenne is good because specifically because of its HP its HP, but just 40 for each tool. So previously it capped out at 160. Now it caps out at 240 with 2 Reverooms. Yeah. But that still requires you to get 6 tools, put them on your Pokemon, and you unfortunately have to run Dedenne EX. So
and you have to run 2 types that don't go well together.
Yes. I mean, well, and I think you just don't. You essentially have to run this with no metal energy. It just sits on your bench, which means you have 4 dead cards. 20% of your deck is dead effectively, except for one specific strategy.
Yeah.
It is a fantastic combination though. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, I mean that's like the kind of stuff that I really love about the game, and like just this wacky stuff. Like the Garchomp Hisuian Zoroark deck that I was playing, like it's just hilarious that Garchomp is actually kind of viable in that deck.
Yeah.
It's not good. It was not necessarily a crazy strategy that was like meta defining, but it was like really interesting that you could play it at all.
Oh, I'm dumb. So I'm gonna skip the dragons for now, since they're the namesake of this set. We'll come back to them last. Moving on to colorless, we have Raticate. Treasure collecting, which is the ability, is why I'm reading this. Once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand, to evolve a Pokemon, you may look at the top 4 cards of your deck and put them all back in the order you find. Shuffle the cards, other cards back into your deck. Put all item cards you find there into your hand. So this essentially feeds into those strategies that we saw earlier. With Rotom, again, you just have to then use them. So if you're running that Rotom deck, I think you definitely run Raticate. It's colorless. It goes in there very nicely. The problem is a card that supports a specific playstyle is only as good as that playstyle. And as we already discussed, Rotom itself is bad, which means that Raticate itself is bad because it doesn't support anything else. B-Man, I'd assume it discards the second tool put on at Turkey Pear. What are we talking about? I missed this. Turkey Bear said, I want to know what happens if you de-evolve it with Celebi.
I would assume.
Yeah. It would have to, because I think it's just how that's coded in the game.
Yeah, otherwise that'd be kind of awkward.
Yeah. Moving on, we have Delcatty, which is actually, I really like this card. So, 2 energy for 50. You may move any amount of energy from your Pokemon in play to your other Pokemon in any way you like, which is crazy because I'm thinking, for example, so think about this. Mega Gengar, right? And I'm not saying this is the best use case. It's just the one that I'm coming off the top of my head.
Mega Gengar,
because we were talking about it earlier. The only ramp that Dark has is Hydreigon, but it ramps itself. But it can ramp itself from anywhere. So you activate it twice. You've got 2 Hydreigons or whatever. You move it. You move the energy, or you attack with Delcatty. You move it onto your Mega Gengar. You bring the Mega Gengar back in next turn. It's ready to go on. Well, it would be turn 3. Turn 3, it's ready to go, which is much faster than you can do it any other way. But and of course there are better options. But anytime that you want to be moving large amounts of energy from one Pokemon onto another, ideally Pokemon that self-ramp onto another one that doesn't self-ramp, then I think Delcatty is a play. Now, most of the archetypes, or most of the types that want to do this, can do it inherently in some way. Either they have ramp, like water has cards that ramp other cards, so Delcatty has no point. Or if you want to do this in electric, you're going to be playing it with, for example, Koraidon. And Miraidon moves all of the energy itself. But I'm thinking like for darkness, for fighting even, Delcatty allows you to then move that energy to where you need it to be, which is, it's a niche use case, but it's a really interesting one. Isn't that what Morpeko does? Morpeko has to die.
Yeah, Morpeko has to die. And we're not talking about that because we don't like Morpeko. That's just actually what it does.
Yeah. Hang on, I'll bring it up. No, that sounded really harsh now that you put it that way.
Yeah.
Isn't Morpeko has to die. Okay, yeah. Move 2. Oh, no, it doesn't have to die. That's wrong. I was wrong.
I would agree.
Move
By
2
the way, the
energy
other
from
version of
this
Delcatty is better.
Pokemon. So when I say I'm wrong that Morpeko has to die, but it effectively dies because you get one attack out of it, and then you move both energy off onto something else. So it's really inefficient. And it doesn't ramp, it just moves the energy, whereas Delcatty off of itself, which again, dark type has no way to ramp something else, it only has self ramp in the form of Hydreigon. Delcatty allows you to then move that self ramped energy. Yeah. Now it does take 2 turns to do it because you have to have 2 energy on Delcatty and then attack, but it is one turn faster than best case scenario hard powering up Mega Gengar, for example, that requires 4 energy. The other version of Delcatty is better in my opinion. Delcatty is always good. Like I don't think that I'm ever, but it's never like top of the heap. You know what I mean? Search for friends once during your turn. When you play this Pokemon from your hand, you may put a supported card from your discard pile in your hand. Agreed. I think that is a fantastic ability. And had this come out in early set A, you'd be seeing this in a lot of decks to recycle our only draw power at the time, which was Professors. But now there's just so much.
Have you considered the other Delcatty though that puts 1 colorless energy on on Rayquaza EX Energy Assist?
That's a good point.
Rayquaza EX, it's back in the game.
Unfortunately, that doesn't is it all energy or is it only? Oh, you don't. It only removes fire and
I'm talking about
energy.
Rayquaza EX, not Mega Rayquaza.
Oh, you're right about that. I forgot about that. I forgot that was a card.
I was kind of joking, yeah, but it is good. I like it.
So I think that Delcatty deserves a spot in niche. I just think it's really interesting. Moving on to Kecleon. I'm blind. Samesies Slap. Wow, I don't know, that was so hard. If this Pokemon and your opponent's active Pokemon have 1 or more of the same type of energy attached, this attack does 30 more damage. This is extremely gimmicky. It kind of leans into what we were designing with our set and what that Kecleon does, except ours actually changed its typing. It's way better. Yeah. This is just gimmicky, and for that reason, I think it's bad because you can't control for the. I don't think there's any cards that allow you to truly control what your opponent's energy is. You can randomize it and you can mess with them a little bit, but you can't like, oh, I'm playing a fire deck, fire energy, and I'm gonna somehow make you have fire energy if you don't inherently have fire energy and guarantee it. I don't think there's a way to do that.
No, I would agree with that. I don't think that there really is.
And even if you did, the payoff is 50 damage. Just play Absol.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So, my boy Kecleon, they did you dirty. All right, we have Swanna EX. Jetwing for 3 energy during your next turn. This Pokemon can't attack. I hate these freaking cards that are, they can't attack next turn.
I do not like Swanna. I think it's pretty booty cheeks, and I said that when I was reviewing the set too. I just think that this is.
Yeah, I think that's all there is to say about that. We'll throw it up to bat. And then the last colorless Pokemon is Silvally. We have another Silvally. For 3 energy this time, terrible. If your opponent's active Pokemon is in an EX, it does 90 more damage for a total of 150.
Yeah, I think this is pretty bad.
Yeah, no, I mean it doesn't attack on curve. Uh, I would honestly rather play the other one because you're attacking a turn sooner, and you're doing 100 damage to everything, not 60 to most things, and 150 to EX Pokemon. Yeah, no, I don't see why you'd play it. Brian Bridge, you guys saw the Kecleon art in the real TCG, the ones that's coming out soon, on a poll. Pat, you want to look that up for me because I'm not going to look up Kecleon on a poll on a live stream and then shoot me that link
Okay, yeah, sure. Kecleon.
on a poll.
Why did they make Kecleon a pole dancer? Ah, I see. Ah,
let me see it. Shoot, send in the Discord.
putting it in the recording text.
All right. Oh
Yeah, that's
goodness,
golly goodness indeed, my guy.
there is yeah, we're gonna move on from that one. My goodness, a children's card game. Um,
Goodness gracious, my guy.
so moving on to Dragon types, which is the namesake of this set. Dragonair. What do you think of Dragonair, and why is it meta defining?
I mean, Dragonair is insane. Do I what like do I really need to say why it's insane? Because
No,
I
no,
feel
no,
like
no.
it's pretty
I
self-explanatory.
get it. I mean, you can attach an energy from your discard pile to your active Pokemon. It allows you to choose. I'm assuming. I haven't actually physically played this card yet because I don't own it. But
I haven't been able to play it yet either, but yes, I would assume that it would allow you
yeah,
to
because it
choose.
doesn't say random, so I assume it allows you to choose. Oh, yeah. I
It has
mean,
to
it's
be a
pretty
dragon
crazy.
type is the way that it's gated, so it's not like actually crazy.
Right, right.
But
But I mean, dragons are typically the ones who are going to benefit from this most that don't already have
correct.
some inherent way to recover energy like fire does. Yeah, I mean, reading the card is enough to tell you what this does. I mean, this card along with Rainbow. We may as well talk about that real quick now. Rainbow Cave just shoots dragons into, if not top, not necessarily top of the meta, but we'll still see how that shakes out, but certainly playable now. Rainbow Cave, once during each player's turn, that player may discard the energy that has been generated in their energy zone, which means there must be an energy, so it can't be used on turn one. I think we talked about this on Tuesday, maybe, or last week.
I think so.
If they do, the next energy is produced. So obviously you're using this if you see, because you can see the next energy. Oh my god, I am playing Flygon. I have fighting. I need a grass. This is a fighting energy. I'm gonna activate Rainbow Cave so I can get to my grass energy, which is the next one up, so I can actually start attacking. Really strong, really good. Really, it's a boost to any deck that plays multiple types of energy. Most of the time, it's gonna be dragon, which is why we talk about it in the context of the dragon type. But it does boost more than just dragons, and I think that I think this is a generally good card. I don't know if this is going to single handedly define the meta, but I think that it is a good card.
I think it is meta defining
You
because
think
I
it's
think
meta
it's just
defining?
going to propel so many dragon type strategies to the top.
All right,
I
all
really
right.
do.
We'll see. I'll be
I I
really
think
sad
that
if dragons
and
do nothing.
yeah, I think that and also it's going to benefit a ton of fire type strategies so much. Like fire with flame patch, this and Wally is just can just generate 3 energy in a turn. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have something like I don't know Typhlosion that needs that, you're sitting very well.
No,
You're sitting very well for
that's
this
a
card.
good point. And that's not even a type that, and I didn't think about that because that's not a type that, or a deck that you're running multiple types of energy in. So that's a fantastic point because the discarding actually does benefit. And this is where we're starting to get to that point in the game where the graveyard, the discard pile goes from the nether, from the shadow realm where you never get to interact with cards again to a second hand, more or less.
Right.
And that's where I think TCGs, when the graveyard, discard pile, exile, whatever you want to call it, becomes a second hand, is when TCGs I think really start becoming complicated and take off in good ways.
I think so. Yep.
To your point, Brian Bridge, you're right. 80 HP is hard to keep Dragonair alive. That being said, if you're using its effect, it has to be on your bench, so it's not going to be
Yeah.
in danger from the active slot. And that does get one tap by that Galarian Obstagoon we were talking about earlier. prime example, but the threat level to the Dragonair is much lower. If that was on an attack, like Draconic Whip, and that was the effect of the attack, I would 100% agree with you. That makes this card much harder to run. But as it stands, it's relatively well protected. Moving on to its evolution, which is Dragonite. Discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon, which is always nice. Going back to, it's 110 damage, so it's not enough to KO most things, which is what we'd expect from a 1-point Pokemon. Thoughts?
On Dragonite, I think it's no. I'm not playing this.
All right. If Patrick's not playing the Dragonite, then it must be terrible.
Yeah, this thing is like I'm kind of surprised that you're asking about it, but I mean there's like Draco Meteor Dragonite, which is just generically better, just in every way, and also now benefits from Drayden. So I'm just gonna play that, or I'll play Dragonite EX. Like either one of those would be just better than this. Like this is just bad.
That's fair.
This is I think this is actually even worse than the Dragonite we just got. I would probably say that.
Dragonite. Did we just get a Dragonite?
We did just get a Dragonite. It was in, I think, Mega Shining.
Oh, okay.
What is that? Dragon Wave?
Yeah, discard a water and lightning energy from this Pokemon and do 150. Which hits breakpoints, which is important.
It hits breakpoints, and also because you have Dragonair theoretically.
Yep.
And you can get some of those back, and you can cycle and whatnot. So generically, I think that this is just not that good.
Yeah. So now we go on to Baby Rayquaza. Discard 2 random energy from this Pokemon. Yeah, no. I mean, no, Flame Patch only works with Fire type Pokemon. Yeah, no, I don't like this. Plus, it's only 120 HP. It's 4 energy. There's no real way to ramp it. Yeah. Now, Daddy Rayquaza, Mega Rayquaza EX, on the other hand, Mega Burst for a Fire and a Lightning. Discard all Fire and Lightning energy from this Pokemon. Does 50 damage for each energy you discarded this way. So it does take time to ramp back up. But yeah, no, this is strong. I'm gonna let you talk about this. My throat's starting to hurt.
Yeah, no, you're good. You've been doing a lot of the talking. Yeah, I mean, this is just insane. I mean, you get to modulate basically the damage you do for the most part, right? It may not look like that at the beginning, but the fact that you can just kind of say, well, I only need to do 100, so I'm only going to put 2 energy on it using the Dragonair stuff, right? So I won't over-invest in this card, and I can put energy on something else on my bench, right? Whatever that may be. It just gives you options, and it also it can function as an opener through the minimum of 100 damage, which is a lot, and it's a basic, or it can function as kind of a closer. It's just really what you need it to be. And let me see if there's any I haven't actually looked yet if there's any current decks with Mega Rayquaza, but I feel like this card's pretty good. Oh, it's rated C. I think that's wrong. Oh, it's okay. So it's playing Altaria, which makes sense, and it's also playing
I can see that,
the new dragon type card, the Drampa.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's pretty good. I think it's way underrated. I think this card is actually going to be really good. This is where I severely disagree with the tier list, and this is probably where we're going to be wrong. But
do you think that it's good, or do you think it's meta defining? Because I think
it's good.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because I would push back on meta defining, but I think good is fair. I think you're right. Time will tell whether this card is niche or it's good. It's going to be in one of those 2 categories. Brian Bridge, Mega Ray should have 0 retreat. Just saying. That, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I mean, 0 would be nice. It only has 180 HP, which always feels low for a Mega Pokemon. I do see why as a basic, but still. Moving on to Noivern with Draco Meteor for 1 Psychic and 2 Dark energy. One of your opponent's Pokemon is chosen at random 3 times. For each time a Pokemon was chosen, do 60 damage to it. This is just Wugtrio EX, but arguably better.
Way better. Way better.
Psychic and
Draco Meteor.
Yeah, and Psychic. Yeah, what is Draco Meteor? Doesn't that pair with something? Isn't there something that
it pairs with Drayden? I was just talking about that.
Oh, okay. We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet. But that's good.
We'll hit that next.
That's the reason why this is good. Yeah.
And also Psychic and Dark have some inherent synergy in how they want to play. And don't think there's a lot of crossover in actual cards, but in gameplay design there is. And then Drayden, during this turn, one of your opponent's Pokemon is chosen one more time for the Draco Meteor attack used by your Pokemon. Oh, yeah. So you're doing 240 damage
Yep.
spread across. Yeah, okay. I
And
will.
then it
I'm
also
gonna play this
impacts.
in Prague.
Yeah, no, this is crazy. It also impacts whatchamacallit, uh Rayquaza I was just talking about, and Dragonite,
Mm-hmm.
which will also both have the Draco Meteor attack. So anything that has Draco Meteor now has a card that directly buffs it.
Yeah, so this one, what? Would it just, where's, okay. So one of your opponent's Pokemon shows them random 4 times. So that would make that one do
It does
250.
250, and then Rayquaza I think does 200 now because I think it does 4 times 40.
Rayquaza EX. Yeah, 4
Yeah.
times 40. So yeah, that would make it do 200. That's still, I think, the worst of the bunch. But,
Hey. Yeah, it is.
yeah.
I get
Well,
it.
and
I
I would
in
say,
good faith, I cannot argue that.
yeah, I would say Noivern is actually better, but then you
Oh, yeah.
also have, but
Noivern's
Wallace
great. It
can,
benefits from a lot of stage 1 support,
yeah.
which the others didn't.
Oh yeah, all that's true. Darth Brutal says Noivern is cool. Glad he has a cool card in pocket. I do like Noivern. I used to not like him just as a design, but he has grown on me. And B-Man says Mega Rayquaza plus Small Balloon, which is a hilarious visual to think about.
That's true, yeah.
The god of the sky gets a free retreat from a
From the
child's
smallest
balloon.
balloon known to man. Yeah.
So I think they both belong in good, to be honest. Because I mean,
I think so. I think this is a viable strategy. I think it's very interesting. I think the only real problem I have with it is that there's nothing that like inherently supports or benefits this specific strategy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's my only issue with it.
Yeah, but I will say that the dark,
Like, and to be clear, in the sense of like another Pokemon that really clearly works with Dark and Psychic type energy without having to have specifically
mhm.
one or the other with you.
Well, and
That's
here's what you could do. You could run Hydreigon, like one Hydreigon line in a otherwise Psychic deck with Noivern and Delcatty, and then you Hydreigon self ramps 2 Dark Energy onto it. Delcatty moves it onto Noivern. Noivern's never discarding energy, so you don't have to worry about recovering it. And if you have to, I mean, it does take 2 turns if you're not generating your own dark energy, but Hydreigon can ramp itself to get that attack. So that does give you options. I'm not saying that's just what I cooked off the top of my head.
right.
Brian Bridge says thoughts on viability of Mega Latios now.
I talked about that a little bit in our breakdown, or in the is the set worth the hype video, right? Not too
Mhm.
long ago. And ultimately what I land on is I think that yeah, okay, it's got a place now. It can do something. Um is that something worth writing home about? Yeah, I arguably Mega Rayquaza is just better at doing the exact same thing. So my opinion, like, yeah, sure, if you want to play it, that's fine. And you can work with like some water type stuff. But realistically, I think that you're just better served running Mega Ray, which is unfortunate. But now, like you can actually play this card. It's
Yep.
actually playable.
All right, so we're going to start speedrunning these because I have work in the morning. Turtonator. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. I don't really like this card. Firefighting. I don't think there's a whole lot of synergy there. And it doesn't benefit from any inherent ramp from like Wallace, for example, for that 3rd colorless energy. So I don't like it. Unless you disagree, I'm going to throw it in bad.
Turtonator.
Yep.
I think that this is actually okay.
All right.
It benefits from Kiawe.
Oh, I forgot about that. I didn't even remember that was a card.
Yeah, so you can actually run just fighting type energy and a copy of Kiawe, and Kiawe will take care of the fire, and you'll actually add 2 fire energy onto it.
Oh, that's a
So
very
you
good
can run this
point.
in fighting type decks as a tech card. I don't know why you would, but you can. It's
No, I
actually not
mean
terrible.
that's interesting because I mean that's turn 1. Then you're doing 70 damage. You're doing 90 damage.
No, you have to be turn 2 because Kiawe ends your turn.
Oh yeah, okay. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It would be crazy
So-
if it didn't, but that okay. So
That's why it
I
does.
still don't necessarily think that it's. I mean, how about meh? Does meh sound good?
I think Meta sounds good, but it's like because you can't see it in Prague because of the fact that we don't have access to Galway. But
Yeah.
that itself, though, I think is again, this is one of my favorite, and I'm working on a concept video about this right now about archetypes in Pokemon Pocket. And I really like the way that the Pokemon TCG structures it, in the sense of, you have all these cards that, the archetype is the name of the Pokemon, so that anytime that you release a supporter, now you have this like kind of web of interactions across different named Pokemon. So like going back to like if they had a Galarian support card, right, randomly, then that would theoretically create this web of interactions for all Galarian Pokemon, which I think is very cool. So anyway, this is like it's something I'm thinking about.
It's a very good point. All right, moving on to Drampa. Discard a random energy from this Pokemon. 2 colorless. It is 70.
I think this is an interesting piece in the Mega Ray deck, because it can attack turn 1 basically, as long as you have Dragonair.
Mm-hmm. And it's I know it's not as relevant as it used to be, but it is also an Oricorio counter.
Yep, it is technically an Oricorio counter as well. Yes, correct.
So, niche?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I think I can see this being played in Prague. I mean, it's a generic fine card in Prague, like in a fire deck. Like I would actually play this in my fire deck because it would discard the fire.
Yeah.
For
use later on. Yep. B-Man says no Steven or Zinnia in this set is crazy. I thought, I definitely thought
we were gonna get one of those.
Moving on to Hydrapple. For a single grass and fire, flip 2 coins, both of them are heads. This attack does 100 more damage, so it's a guaranteed 100, potentially 200. Not the worst thing in the world. It's only a 25% chance, 50% chance if you use Wally. I don't know. I think it's fine, unless you can think of any better synergies.
I think because it's not fire type, so it doesn't benefit from Victini. I just think this is kind of booty.
All right, we can throw it in booty.
It doesn't benefit from Wally, as you said, so yeah, it just
and unfortunately, with it being a stage 2, it doesn't get the same generous leeway that something like Drampa does, which does for the same amount of energy, arguably more because it discards. Had only just less damage, no potential one-hit KOs, doing 200, but it's a stage 2. Then the last one, Cyclizar. I'm gonna say it's Cyclizar.
Cyclizar, but okay.
Bicycle. You don't say bicycle.
Do you say bicycle or bicycle?
Bicycle.
So Cyclizar.
Yes.
Cyclizar.
No, you just made my point. You literally just made my point for me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Chat, clip that. That's gonna be a short. That's 100. That is I'm gonna have to break up CapCut so I can make it short again. Okay. Cyclizar, flip a coin if heads during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage from and effects of attack done to this Pokemon. I hate this effect whenever it comes up. That's a 50% chance of blanking your opponent's turn. It's also a 50% chance that it does nothing. And what do do you get out of it? Yeah, it costs so much. I mean, this is worse Drampa.
Dark and grass. Like, that just doesn't seem... Like, it's just the color of the Pokemon. They went, well, we can't really come up with a better outcome. Just give it its colors.
No, no. Get out of my face.
This don't do it for you?
This does not do it for me, Chief. What's the sport where you ride a bike called? That's not important. It's called bicycling. Isn't called motocross? No, that's the sport where you ride a bike called X Games. Disney Channel. What?
The Disney Channel is what it's
what? What am I thinking of?
I don't know what you're thinking of.
I
don't know what you're thinking of, but let's keep it moving.
I'm looking this up.
Okay, well, he's looking that up. How's everyone else doing? Because he has control over
BMX. BMX is what it's called. Okay, I got it.
All right, you got it?
Yep. Okay, we can get back to the topic
Regularly
at hand.
scheduled program. Okay.
All right. Order pad. They finally gave us an iPad for the iPad kids. Flip a coin. If heads, put a random
We've been
item.
waiting. How long has this stream been going on? 2.5 hours?
Almost 2 hours and 40 minutes.
It's almost 3 hours to say that joke. You've been sitting on that this whole time. Are
I
you
wasn't.
kidding me right now?
I wasn't. I came up with that on the spot. I am just.
No,
I am
were
a
just thinking about
comedic
that.
genius.
Uh-huh.
That's
Okay.
why
If
my
you're a
wife
comedic genius,
is
then
with me.
I'm just a regular genius.
Okay, I'm not a comedic genius. Flip.
Wow.
I love you, Patrick. Flip a coin. If heads, put a random item card from your deck into your hand. I mean, if you desperately need an item card, it's fine. I would rather just draw cards. I don't think it's very good. BMX Lazar is my favorite dragon. Thank you, Darth Brutal.
Lazar.
Oh, that was hilarious. I like that. Can I highlight that? Of course I can. I can do whatever I want.
Lazar is my favorite dragon. That goes hard.
All right. Yeah. No, I think this is bad. Unless you stop me the next 5 seconds of putting it in bad.
No, I think this is terrible. I think you've also had enough fun.
All right. The fossils. Nothing needs to be said about those. Deceptive Needle. At the end of your turn, if the Dark Pokemon's card's is attached to in the active spot,
crazy.
do 10 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. I mean, it's just 10 free ping damage.
It's 10 free ping damage all the time for nothing, you know.
Yeah, I mean it's only on your turn, unfortunately, but it is free damage. I misread this at first. I was like, why would you not just run poison barb? Because I thought you had to be attacked. No, I misread it. It just does it for free. No, that's pretty good. I think Staple's fine for this one. I think this becomes a staple in dark decks.
I would say so. I think this is really, 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 really good.
I have to drag this through so many different categories. Moving on to Clear Veil, which I think is really good. Prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon. Done to the Pokemon's cards attached to. Existing effects are not removed. That's the big unfortunate part, and what I think really sets it apart from something like Steel Apron. Obviously, Steel Apron has the damage reduction on it as well, but it also cleanses existing effects and prevents future effects. And this also, Clear Veil only prevents effects from attacks, not abilities, which Steel Apron does everything. But I think that this is, you could see this being, I think, splashed into decks if, well, for example, Sleep. I mean, this just counters the Sleep Scum strategy entirely. Assuming that you can attach it before you get slept the first time.
Right. I think generically this is pretty darn good. As a result. I think this is actually a pretty high tier card. And
I think it's good.
It's a great preemptive piece for pretty much any deck that really just doesn't want sleep. And there's ways of searching out tools, so you can theoretically throw that in there if you really wanted to. Yeah. So I think this is good. I think this is a really good card.
I'd put it in staple if it weren't for the Sleep Scum deck, but with it in the meta, I would put it as good.
Yep.
Speaking of good, we have our first switch card in the game. Generic switch card.
Crazy.
Yeah, switch your active stage 1 Pokemon. Again, there's all the stage 1 love in set B, which I think is very much warranted after what they did to stage 1 set A, with one of your bench Pokemon. So as long as it's a stage 1, it is a free switch. Which, for those of you who haven't played the old paper TCGs, I mean, Switch is insane. Really strong.
Yeah.
So I think meta defining are good. I could be convinced of the former. I think the latter is a given.
I think it's meta defining.
You think it's meta defining? I will not argue with you because stage 1s are so much more viable. I think
giving stage 1 any stage 1 is not gated by being a mega or EX or
even type gated like Ilma
or even type gated. Like if it was a colorless, it would be way worse.
Yeah,
like as we know. But the fact that it's not gated at all, I think is just really, 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 really good for this card.
Agreed.
So
moving on, we have I'm gonna go to Soothing Shore first because I think Wally is kind of like the pinnacle of this set. Soothing Shore, at the end of each player's turn, that player heals 20 damage from each of their Pokemon that has water energy attached. Very important, because just like how Irida heals all Pokemon with water energy attached, you can then splash it into a colorless deck, for example,
Yep.
which I've done
Yep.
before.
That's what I was
And
gonna say.
yep, it gets healing there. And so this gives water access to even more healing. This with Irida is 60.
Just
60
run
is
this
in
in your
single turn.
Bramblegast, what's it called deck that has Megaladino. Megaladino Bramblegast deck, and now you're just healing like you're
Oh,
unkillable.
I forgot that card existed. Yeah, no, you're right. I think this is generally good. Like if you're a water deck, your alternative to this is playing something that searches like a Mesagoza or something. But I think that I mean, a free potion on every Pokemon that has energy on it every turn is something I'm never going to turn down.
Yep.
It does bring up the topic of, once again though, of if you only have 20 cards in the deck, what do you take out?
I mean, the fact that I think this is every turn, right?
It is every turn, at the end
So
of each
I would
player's
take out
turn.
Irida for this, honestly.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I'm just
I
saying,
think this is better Irida.
like generally speaking, every time like 20 cards is just not enough for a lot of what I
They
like.
need to
like
up
play.
it to 30.
They
They
do.
need to up it to 30 and add maybe one bench slot and require one more point or something.
Yep. Nope. I completely agree. Then the last card in this set, we have Wally. Take a colorless energy from Energy Zone and attach it to one of your Stage 2 Pokemon, which this card's been brought up in reference to pretty much every single Stage 2 Pokemon that can use the colorless energy tonight. And if that doesn't tell you that this card is really strong, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
Brian Bridge says, I pulled 2 Floret Skylas. Yeah, oh my god, that's awesome.
That's crazy.
I always prefer to pull the full art trainers because they go in more decks than the Pokemon do. So that's always my personal preference. Brian says, Soothing Shore on a wall like Wailord is so annoying. Also very true. Like going back to like, why would you run Wailord? I mean, that could be one reason. It's just it's massive HP pool combined with all that healing that leans more towards that stalling, slow death Reunculus strategy that I like to play. You're still not going to convince me that it's the best pairing with Sharpedo, but yes, that is a excellent example of.
No, I don't think it is. I think Gyarados is, by the way.
Yeah, Gyarados is a crazy Mega Gyarados.
Yeah, Mega Gyarados, and then the raging one that discards Pokemon is amazing.
Yep, agreed. So Wally right here, I think this goes into meta defining for much the same reason.
Oh, very clearly. I mean, this is just an insane card that every stage 2 deck is just going to want to play now. And I just think this
just like every single Dragon deck is gonna be running Dragonair and Rainbow Cave. Yep. Every single Stage 1 deck is going to be running Skyla. Every single Stage 2 is going to be running Wally. There's just no question about it. I mean, you're going to see these cards everywhere.
Yep.
So, in 30 seconds or less, tell me what your favorite 1-star and 2-star cards are, and why is it Cyclizar?
Why is it Cyclizar? Okay, hold on a second. Let me actually take a really quick look at this really quick, because I had my 2-star selected out. I like how you're like, why is it Cyclizar, and you have like Noivern, which looks insane.
Noivern looks. I had my one picked out, but I didn't see Noivern earlier. What the heck?
Was yours picked out?
Mine was Quilava because I love Quilava and it's adorable.
Quilava looks awesome.
But oh my god, Noivern looks so amazing. I want this card.
Art in this set is crazy.
Brian Bridges' favorite 1-star is Kyogre. Kyogre's 1-star.
I was gonna say
it's good. I like it. It's serene for me.
Here's the ones that I like. I like Wurmple.
No, so cute.
Wait, hold on a second. Did we not talk about this?
What?
A Selgor, deck and cover. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned and paralyzed. That's crazy. Okay.
I talked about it while you were putting yourself.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I don't remember talking about that one. But what about Kricketune? Anyway, I like Wurmple. I like the Selgor. Looks pretty hard. Ponyta looks good. I like Quilava. I like Kyogre.
I'd be hard pressed to find an art in here that misses. Awesome. Honestly,
yeah, and Poochyena is hilarious.
Oh yeah, I tried twice earlier to get this from Wonderpick and failed both times.
Oh gosh, I think I'll just go with Cyclizar. Right? I'm not just kidding. I think I'll go with Poochyena. Honestly, I
That's a
think
good one.
I think I'm feeling that one, but I think there's like at least a dozen or so really really good arts, and this is crazy. How
Yeah,
good,
I mean this is insane for arts. I am gonna have to go with Noivern because it just goes so hard. But after that would definitely be Quilava because I love Quilava and I like the this isn't woodblock, but it is reminiscent of woodblock art style native to Japan, and I think that I do enjoy that art style. And
Yeah.
so
Okay, so
2-star.
2-star.
What is your favorite and why is it
I mean,
Rotom?
there's only one option here, right? And I mean, it's Skyla. And let me tell you, does anybody here know? Gosh, what's his name? Ray from Achievement Hunter. It's Skyla. Anyway, let's see if anyone gets that.
Turkey Pear says peak arts facts.
True. I'll send you the hold on.
Brian Bridge says favorite rainbow has to be Sharpedo. This art does go hard. Can I make it bigger?
Okay, see if I can.
No, I can't.
Okay, hold on a second.
No, I'm not zooming.
Do not show this on stream. There you go. That's a video. Watch that later.
Okay, I will watch that later, I guess.
It's Ray opening a Pokemon card pack.
It's the clip with the fake card Turkey Pear says.
Yes. Okay, so Turkey Pear knows.
Okay.
Well,
anyway, what is your favorite 2-star?
my favorite 2-star. Oh man, I love Mega Sharpedo. What did you pick?
I haven't picked yet. You want me to pick
Okay.
first?
Yeah, why don't you pick first? Because if you pick Mega Sharpedo, I have my second best.
Well, it's really close, but I'm gonna have to go with Typhlosion.
That was gonna be my number 2. That was gonna be my number 2.
Typhlosion is my number 1, but it's like by a hair over Mega Sharpedo.
That one's awesome. That one looks really really cool. I think both of those arts are just amazing for both reasons. Can't you scroll down and see the full art?
I'm at the bottom. The full art isn't loading.
No, scroll up. What's going on? Mega Sharpedo?
Yes, the full art. He's because I was seeing if I can make the card bigger, but normally there's a full art here, but it's not loading right now. I don't know if they just haven't put the image in.
I wasn't paying attention to that.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Turkey Pear says he's choosing Gallade, which again, Gallade is a fantastic art.
Pretty good. Like even Wailord EX looks really good.
Yeah, I mean it fits Wailord, like a little seagull Wingles in the background. Last piece, favorite shiny.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll go this time. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
There's some really good ones here as well. Okay, so Alolan Ninetales, shiny Alolan Ninetales EX goes hard.
Yeah.
Mega Gardevoir EX goes hard.
Yep.
And Gigalith goes hard. Oh
no, I lost your video.
Well, good thing it happened now. Gosh. I think I'm gonna go with Gigalith because the shiny background looks insane on him, but like I would not be disappointed with Mega Guard either.
Mega Guard was mine.
Yeah, okay. I think we probably are pretty well aligned on a lot of these arts.
So
really
Turkey Pear says gotta be Guard. Yep. I'm with you.
I think all of these arts look really good. Like,
I will say I also do really like shiny Weezing. There's just the color scheme.
Oh yeah, sure.
But
I can see that.
All right, so this is our final list. Man, this is our longest stream ever, I think. 3 hours.
Thank you guys for being with us the whole time.
Yeah, no kidding. Hacker Attached says, I pulled Mega Gardevoir. That is awesome. Congrats, bro. It's gotta be Brandon Marks has gotta be Skyla.
I get.
All right, so
I'm just glad that at least 2 people know what I'm referring to.
I have no idea. So snip this. This is 100% always. We always hit with these. We're 100% correct. This is how the meta is going to shake out. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did. Beeman says, by the way, the answer was cycling. No, the answer is BMX. I looked it up. Brian Bridge, I pulled the 2 full art Skylas, Immersive Rayquaza and Crown Raichu. Bro's hacking. You are
really.
hacking. Anyway,
That's
I hope
crazy.
that you guys had as much fun as we did. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And yeah, have a good night. And we'll catch you in the next one.
See you guys. Thanks for joining us.